Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another Cardboard Hands episode. We are back again with our co-host, Retrospects. It is I, the old card shop, back from the dead. I am not quite done with Pokemon. I'm actually just getting revved up again now that the market's crashing, dare I say. But before we get into that, we have some great topics. I want to first and foremost check in with my good friend, Nick. How you doing here? Mr. Kid Goku today. What's going on? Aloha. How's it going?
Aloha. Yeah, it's going good. I'm posting to Instagram right now. I'm posting so that people can get in here since we haven't done one of these in a long time. But yeah, man, it's been good. Still a little beat from catching up on sleep and stuff like that. We flew out at like 10:30 or 11 at night, and we landed because of the time difference. We landed at like 7:30 in the morning.
So
And
catch everyone up. You just got back from Hawaii. Is that what that's what you're talking about, right?
yeah, we got back we went to Kauai and for like a week, and it was really good. But yeah, the time difference is nuts, man. So it's like they're 3 hours behind Pacific. So then and then Eastern is another. So like when I was trying to deal with people and stuff like that, like it was like we're 3 hours like I'm waking up and it's already like afternoon or evening, depending on if you're like West or East Coast or whatever. But yeah, man, the time change coming back was a little nuts because like I try to sleep on the plane, but I need one of those like neck, those like neck pillow things that people bring because like, dude, your neck gets jacked up trying to sleep on the plane. It's just like it's so stiff and like I don't know, man. Like the way yeah, it's not super comfortable, but and there's like screaming babies and stuff like that, and so you're waking up like every hour and a half. So it was kind of miserable trying to get some sleep on the way back. But yeah, we got back at like 7 in the morning and drove home, and I was beat, but like I kind of caught a second wind a little bit because I was like happy to get back and get back to work, and like I had all this stuff I needed to catch up on, so I just kind of like powered through it and knocked out a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I apologize if I'm a little slow today. I might still be on. I might still have island brain. So we'll see what
Well, I
happens.
mean, you were there for a long time. Like, how long were you in Hawaii for?
There for like a week. So we were there for a good amount of time for sure. We like to go for like a week at least. Just if you're gonna go to Hawaii or something like that, you can't really do a couple. I mean, you can, but it's not. It's like you can't just be doing like a couple days. You know what I mean? Like that's not really the move. So
Well, you were there for so long that you ended up doing some work while you were there. You were into a card shop, and I know this because I got a very like random call from you, which you never call me for anything. And I was like, oh shit, missed call, but I was coming back from the store and I didn't even see the call in my pocket. So I didn't answer it. But then I got a text from you saying like, hey, I'm in this card shop. There are these cards. Should I buy them all? This is so funny. It's like, oh, he really has been gone for too long. He's going to work while he's there. Okay. All right.
yeah, I. I ended up picking up some of those cards for you for sure because I was
I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely text you back right away because I was like, oh, I definitely want them, but this is too funny to me. This is really good. So in the chat, tell me,
yeah.
while Nick is telling his story, do you do that? Do you still work while you're on vacation too?
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like I enjoy it for sure, and like I had to figure out how to kind of not get burnt out and be healthy with like work life balance. But like I've just kind of come to the realization that I'm a workaholic and I enjoy work, and I think maybe I always have, like even when I was a kid and stuff, like I did more like outside work and projects and stuff like that. And I don't know, like I think I think I always just enjoyed it, and maybe that's helped me be like competitive and stuff because I'm willing to kind of do things that other people aren't, or I'm willing to like push myself a little bit harder. But yeah, to be honest, like I get a little. It's like what's that saying? It's like an idle mind is the devil's playground type thing or whatever. Like I get kind of like depressed or anxious if I don't have something to be doing. You know what I mean? Like I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh man, I wish I could just like take a week off and like do nothing but like chill and play video games and hang out. I'm like, dude, that sounds like a nightmare to me. Like I would get so anxious. Like maybe after a day or two, it would be fun, but like any longer than that, I feel like I would be so anxious and like itching to do something, you know. And but I wanted to be like, you know, respectful of the vacation, and you know, obviously I'm spending time with my girlfriend and stuff, but I was kind of like, well, I can wake up, you know, because we have to like get ready. Like she obviously takes longer to get ready than I do. So I'm like, okay, well, if she's getting ready in the morning, I can like update the price list and take orders and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously, like while we were out, you know, hiking, getting food, I wasn't like on my phone or whatever. But then like when we would get back to the hotel, while we were kind of like planning the next thing to do or whatever, I would sit there and answer all the messages and, you know, take payment and stuff like that. So it ended up working out pretty good. And it was tough because like the week leading up to us leaving was by far the most insane week for sales I had ever had. And so it was kind of tough to be like, oh, I'm going to turn this off, because it was like so crazy. And yeah, I mean, but like some people might argue and be like, well, if it was such a good week of sales, like then you can afford it. And it's like, it's not about the affording. It's just, I don't know, man. Like I just want to keep it going, I guess. But we still had a really good time, and we got, it wasn't like I was stuck in the hotel doing work the whole time or anything like that. Like I put eBay on vacation mode and stuff like that. And yeah, anyways,
So is
so
the website at a point where you can feel like you'd sit back and throw it on automation yet, or is it still to a point where when someone makes a sale, you really need to be there at the house to make the shipping the next day? You can't like say, oh, shipping's in 5 to 7 days, and you know the website orders pile up, and then when you have a certain amount of inventory, and once that inventory is depleted, it just kind of then turns off or it goes out of stock. But that wasn't something that you were quite like the website's up to speed for yet.
yeah, so I mean, like with eBay, you can put your eBay on vacation mode, so like people can still buy stuff from you, but it'll say at the top of the listing, like, hey, this seller's on vacation until whenever. Like, if you buy this, you're gonna have to wait until they get back for them to ship it, which is supposed to slow down. And it probably did a little bit, but like a decent amount of stuff still sold like while I was on vacation mode, which was nice. So I came back to a bunch of orders I needed to package. But dude, to be completely honest, like the website sucks. Like the website is
Don't say that, bro. I'm building
it,
a website right now. Don't tell me the website sucks.
I think it's good, but it's like I'm so bad with like SEO, like the search engine optimization, like all the stuff you're supposed to do. Like I basically just made the website to get it out and get it up there. And like I've had sales, but it's pretty much dead. Like I don't get like yeah, it's either eBay or wholesale. Like the website, I don't really sell anything on as of right now. And maybe like I need to go on there and adjust my prices to like current. I don't know, but like I haven't really been on YouTube a ton, like promoting it. I feel like if you're gonna do like that kind of direct to consumer thing that's outside of eBay, like you have to, like people aren't just gonna, like there's so many people selling Pokemon cards, like you have to do something to drive traffic to it. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about the website at all, because I don't think I've sold anything on the website in like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks or something. It's been a while, so I didn't really have any orders there.
That's brutal, bro. That's brutal, because that's like the main thing that I've been like working on in my head. The next big thing I'm going to do is build a website. And
you barely have enough stock for you in person. Why are you building the website for?
That's why I'm not launching it right now, but I need to have it ready so once I can build my stock up and like launch it, it's good to go. And the biggest thing is I worry about is like what you just said, no one's going to ever find it or anything. So I thought a lot about that. And I think when I do launch the website, I'm going to launch it in conjunction with like a bunch of targeted ads and paid ads on Facebook, Instagram, all these things, and put like TikTok reels and make promotional videos and launch it all at once with all this targeted promotion, like paid promotion, and then let it ride for a couple of months with continuing promotion riding off of that. And then like maybe then I would reevaluate. Have you tried anything like that, or just kind of like launch it without paid advertising or anything?
Yeah, I haven't really done anything to advertise. Like I paid I paid Alex Nostalgianomics. I gave him like, I can't remember whatever his fee is for like a shout out on a video, but I was more, I mean, like
very beneficial actually. I'm sure if you were to keep doing that, you'd get
100%. But I think that my goal with that was more to like drive traffic to the wholesale, and then like the website, like I gave him like an affiliate code, so if people like use I can't remember what, I think his code might have just been like nomics or something like that, but if people use his affiliate code, then they can like save a percentage off on the website type thing. But the goal direct to consumer has kind of been like on the back burner. Like I've been so focused on the wholesale side of it, and then dealing with streamers. The direct to consumer is like definitely something I want to do more of, but I need to, like, I feel like it's a conduit for you. Like I don't, I think you can be successful to a certain point, not being like a face or like being a brand and just having a website that sells cards. But I don't think it's as easy to compete anymore. Like I think that you have to be big on social media, or like people have to know you and then they go to the website because of you. Like I feel like it's so hard to just be like no face. I never like talk to people. I never go online. Like you can't. I don't really think that or at a certain point, like you're just going to be limited. So like for you, like if I was bossing you around, I would say get to the point where you have enough for you in person. Number one, number two, then I would just start selling directly to streamers. The thing with the website would be like, okay, things have gotten so big, or I can produce so much now and I'm completely maxed out selling to streamers, selling myself personally at shows. Now I need to like offer them for sale on a website, because it's like, why would you pay for like a website monthly and the percentage fee that you're going to pay, or that people, or that you're going to pay like for Shopify fees or whatever, when you can just sell everything direct? And like you're in a position right now where like this stuff moves so fast, and there's probably like a bunch of streamers that would like to buy your product anyways, that you don't need to pay like any extra overhead. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when people are like, oh, I'm going to open a shop, and it's like, if you don't have, you know what I mean? It's like, don't like spend extra money if you don't have to type thing. The direct to consumer thing is just like that. Like my goal eventually is to get a direct to consumer arm rolling to where like I could just hire somebody to do that. Like that's their job. Like I don't want to deal with it. All I want to do is like restock product, you package everything, ship things out, like, you know what I mean? So right now it's not there. But that's definitely a goal for like the second half of the year. And I'm doing certain things. Like I pay my buddy weekly to like run a TikTok for me. Like I don't touch anything. And I think he's been doing it for like 2.5, 3 weeks, something like that. And I'm at like, I don't know, I think I'm almost at like 500 followers or something. And like, I haven't really done, I mean, I'm literally doing, like, I don't even log into it. Like I'm TikTok is like very icky to me. But I know it's really good for advertising and stuff. And so like, I need
TikTok's
to, when
really
I get,
good for getting your word out there and advertising for sure.
yeah. So like when I get caught up and stuff, like I want to, pull out like 50 to 100 slabs out of inventory and basically just shoot 15-second videos, like showing, you know, like the foiling and all that kind of stuff, and like dumb, slow, like, or not slow, but short videos that he can just like put a song over and like upload and just like pump out content. And then like I paid for Opus, and I gave him like the login and stuff so he can go in and like drag all of our podcasts and all my lives and all my videos, and then like Opus automatically cuts them up and makes them into shorts, and then he's like been scheduling those out onto
Cool. I didn't know that was a thing that Opus would do.
yeah, you just copy like this podcast. When we were done, you could literally just copy and paste the link into Opus, and Opus will like specifically pick the parts that are spicy or whatever, and it'll like cut it up and then make like a video, and then you can take that video and post it to Instagram Reels or TikTok, whatever they're called, TikTok Reels. I don't know, like, but yeah, it's all automated, so he doesn't have to do any editing or anything like that. So I've been having him do that, and so like I'm trying to do little things to like grow on social media, but like at the end of the day, like I have to get on YouTube consistently. Now that I'm back, I have a few videos that, like, a few topics I was thinking about while I was gone. I was like, oh yeah, like I got to make videos on these. So you just have to get consistent with it, man. I mean, part of the reason that, you know, Brian's been so successful with it too is just like he's just been so consistent on social media across like multiple platforms, and he's built like such a big following, and people have like rocked with him for like a long time. And yeah, I mean, now, and I feel like that's part of the reason too why he's been able to grow so much bigger than a lot of these other guys that have like brand names, but like no one knows who they are. Like everybody knows who Brian is, or everybody, like, I guess in our space, you know what I mean?
Well,
So
they
like,
know who Pokey is, and
yeah,
then they
like
know of
that's,
Brian because he is Pokey. But
yeah. So like that,
I'd
that
say
to
the
me
general
is,
public has heard of them because he's been around for so long, and as like the guy for like that stuff. You go to him for Japanese online, honestly, um, and now you go to him for almost anything, for to a certain extent sealed. That's kind of his whole brand now, but he does English and Japanese. But he was on Vice TV during the pandemic, like right before the pandemic, for like going. He's like, I sell Pokemon out of my basement, and this is how I did it, and I made an empire, left my job, blah, blah, blah. He was doing that back in 2019, 2020. So the guy is a freaking legend, and a really nice guy to boot, too, like a really cool guy. I met him many, many times. I'm happy to be able to say I'll call him a friend, but I definitely would say that he put in the work, and he continuously, like you said, is across all platforms, not just shilling for himself, but just pumping out content in general, which also involves shilling for himself. It's like there's not a day that goes by that I don't see his face in the Pokey content sphere. And I don't even think I follow him, to be honest. Like, he's a great friend, but I don't follow him, I think, on any of the TikTok or anything like that. But I come across him all the time because he's just constantly making content. I don't need to follow him. He's there anyway. So, like, I think that he's a really good example of, like, what success could look like with the website and building the brand. But he's not, like, the example, because I think there's a lot of other factors that go into that, like, it's like, yeah, but he really put in the work. And, like, if anyone were to put in that amount of work for that amount of time, I would almost say you're almost guaranteed the level of success, that maybe not the level, but at least some level of success, because he
well,
really
like, I
does
mean,
put in hard work.
I mean, same thing with James. I mean, like, look at
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
James
It's a
hired
workhorse.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, James hired people to do like all the regular businessy stuff, and then James is doing like all the social media and promotion, and he does those, like, those posts where it's like, this card sold for this, or this card's at this bid versus this card. Like, which one do you think is better? Do you think it's good? Like, that kind of stuff drives so much engagement because, and it's not like divisive, but it's like, it's a call to action to get people to take a side. Like, this vintage Dragonite is selling for this, but this modern dragon, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of stuff. And or like, this black label sold for 20x the PSA 10, like that kind of stuff, where like some people are gonna be like, that's just stupid. And then some people are gonna be like, oh, well, yeah, black labels are hard. Like, you're gonna create like different opinions, and like that's what drives the most engagement. And so I feel like that has been really good for his business. And then obviously, like, him posting, yo, we just sold like an all-time high sale of this card or this card, or then people are like, oh snap, well, if I send my stuff to, because that's part of the thing too with consignment, it's like, oh, I'm going to send it here, I'm going to pay somebody a fee, and I'm going to get less because it's going to auction. But if James is like, yo, if you send to us, like, we sell for the highest price. Like, my Mario Pikachu, I think like it sold for 95, and I think it's actually up now, but like at the time that was the highest like recorded sale. So for him to post that, how many people are then going to send their Mario Pikachus to James? Even if 3 people send it, that's a $10,000 card. That's $30,000 in revenue off one post. That probably took him like a minute or two to make. You know what I mean? So like that kind of stuff really moves the needle, and people just don't do that. And like, I haven't done that for a long, like, I've been talking, dude, I was on here and other podcasts. Like, I remember a long ass time ago, before any of these dudes were doing vendor POV shit, I was saying that vendor POV was the thing that was missing from the Pokemon hobby, because I was watching it in sports content. But like, all these other dudes went out and made it, I didn't, and now like, who cares that I said that shit? Like, it doesn't matter. But like, all these
It
dudes
doesn't
have
matter
like
if you're the one to say it. It matters if you're the one to do it.
exactly, yeah, exactly, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, there's dudes that like Bulbasaur dude, or like, I had no idea who that guy was. His entire thing is built off vendor POV. You know what I mean? And like that, no one was doing that shit. And it's like, there is so, yeah, I don't want to give, I don't want to give, like, I got a couple of videos with ideas coming out or whatever, but like, yeah, man, it's just, I for so long have just not been a social media person. Like, I don't care about it really. Like, I'm not super into it. Like, I try not to spend a ton of time on it, because like, I know it's not good for like your mental health and stuff like that. But like, for business, it literally is just free marketing. Like it,
Yeah.
and it's the most effective marketing you can get. And
It's organic marketing, which is
yeah,
the best
like
thing you could possibly get. Yeah.
well, and it's like you used to have to pay for, like you would have to go out and do all this market research to be like, okay, what channel, like back in like the 90s or something, like if you ran a business, it was like, okay, we have to broadcast Mountain Dew, like the new Mountain Dew flavor on like Toonami or Cartoon Network or G4, because that's where all like the gamers and the kids and the teenagers are going to be, like that's what they're going to be watching. So like that's where you want to market like the Mountain Dew and the taco, you know what I'm saying? Now like this shit just does it for you organically. Like you market, you're like, okay, I'm trying to market Pokemon, like whether it's Pokemon cards or Pokemon Go or like plushies or whatever. It automatically finds the people for you that are into that stuff. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to hire some crazy like multi-million-dollar firm to do that anymore. Like social media just naturally does that. And so, yeah, I feel like people just like overlooking that, me included, it's a huge detriment to your business. And if you just sort of like, it's not easy. Like it's definitely not easy, but like if you lock in on it, it's such a hack. Like, yeah, it's so crazy, man. So yeah, anyways, kind of a rant, but.
So speaking though about what you spoke of earlier with vendor POVs, let's use that as our first like springboard into one of our topics for today and talk about some of the recent happenings at card shows out west here on the West Coast. A lot of people watching and maybe some watching haven't heard. There was a little bit of an incident out on the West Coast recently where there was a card show and someone got robbed at gunpoint at the card show. And it's interesting because that was a card show I was actually at. So luckily I can say it wasn't me. It was someone that I kind of knew through vendors, but not like a really close friend, but someone I'd vended with before for sure. And it was definitely a scary thing to sort of witness. I didn't see the act firsthand, but basically how it went was we had a card show about 2 weeks ago out in the Bay Area, Northern California. And after the show on day one, there was like a break-in in one of the cars, like in the parking lot. Basically, a vendor left his stuff in the car, went back inside, and when he came back, his window had been smashed and someone got the stuff that was in his back seat. Really horrible situation, but like no one was like physically harmed and it wasn't actually seen what was happened. So it was just robbery basically. And so after that situation happened, the next day, everyone was on high alert. Like the vendors were all talking about it. It happened at the end of the day. We were all talking about it, like, oh, make sure you bring your stuff up front. Be careful. Go out with people. We were talking about it. Everyone was, even vendors you didn't know would like go up to people and be like, hey, if you want me to walk out with you, we'll walk out with you so we can go out together. It was very communal and like very hyper aware. And then on the second day, on that day where everyone was hyper aware, that's when somehow at the end of the day, basically some people rolled up on one of the other vendors in the parking lot as he was just packing up his trunk with a clip, and they held him up for his bag. They took his bag with like $5,000 in it. He had it like a sling bag thing across him. And then some of his product, I think, or they were trying to get the product, but maybe they just got the bag. And then they took off and went over a curb and went out the a way you can't even exit usually, a different part of the parking lot, and took off. Cops are there within like 5 minutes. So he ran inside. I was inside packing up. I had just been in the parking lot. It happened right after I went back inside. I went out to my car. I brought my non-valuable stuff to my car, like my case and my shelf. And then my valuable stuff was inside, like waiting so I could bring my car around. I went back in to like tell my friend who I was vending with, like, okay, you can bring your shelf and we can go get our cars and bring it around front and kind of go together. And before I even knew it, someone was running inside, like, a robbery just happened. And so everyone went out and we like were watching it happen and everything. And cops took witness for people who saw, for the few people who did see what happened. It was in broad daylight, so it's insane that it like happened literally in broad daylight. And it definitely put a huge damper on the whole show and like the entire experience of like vending in person, because like I do this thing like every single week, so like you got to think like this was inevitably going to happen like at one of these shows somewhere in the United States. So much money in cash is being exchanged at these things. But like, I hate to say it, but like bad actors are going to recognize that and eventually come and like take advantage of it. Fortunately, I think that it was all caught on camera by a couple of Teslas that were parked in the parking lot, and they had that like Sentry mode thing on.
Shouts to Elon, baby. Shouts to Elon. Let's go.
I mean, I don't think many people are going to be thanking him, but in this case, I think the Teslas may come to save the day, because the cameras that were there at the hotel, of course, don't work. So like no thanks to the actual physical cameras that were there. So there's been a big call to action in the Bay Area in general for like Pokemon vendor or the Pokemon showrunners or the showrunners in general to basically provide a hell of a lot more security, be more upfront about the security, and like to a further extent, I think a lot of ticket sales, if there is ticketed like sales to shows, are going to be only digital now. So there's going to be like a ticket attached to every single attendee to every one of these shows. So there's no like just people sneaking in. So at least theft will have some sort of like a trail that you can go by. And there's also going to be cameras at the next show for everyone walking in. So that'll be kind of a thing. I guess you'll be on camera if you come to the show. So that might be a deterrent. It's just unfortunate that the hobby has gotten to that place. But I mean, are you surprised to hear any of that?
No, unfortunately not. I've been kind of saying it a little bit on different like lives or whatever that I've done, but like joking, but also serious. Like I do not want to be anywhere near a Walmart, a Target, a GameStop, a game store when Destined Rivals drops. I think people are going to be acting stupid, like legitimate, like not even trying to be funny. I think it is very possible that somebody is put in the hospital or worse over this set. Like,
people are fighting over Journey together. Can you imagine what they're going to do over Destined Rivals?
It's interesting to me too, because it's like during the panorama, it was so much different too, because like people were like out of work, and not saying this is justified, but like people were doing the like retail arbitrage stuff because they're out of work. Like they needed to make money somehow, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of what people were doing. Now that's not the case. Like the economy is strong, unemployment is historically low. Like people are chilling. Like people are doing just fine. But it's also free money if you find like a good set at MSRP, right? But like it just, yeah, man, like it'd be interesting too, because I've never been to like the national, like, you know, the big sports card show. So I'd be interested to see like what security looks like at a big sports card show. I mean, dude, Golden, like every time at a Collecticon, like Golden brings their own security. You know, it's homeboy from the TV show.
Those armed security at this show, typically just in the parking lot at that time, they weren't there. So I don't know what the situation is usually like, but
yeah, it's. And I mean, like, look, like you go to certain parts of California, like it is what it is. Like, you know, people pull the blicky on you for less than, you know, a couple of grand in cards for sure.
But people say that about California a lot. And I know that the people watching this podcast may or may not have even ever been to California. I know that's like a very common.
It depends on the area. It depends on the area for
this
sure.
This is not a bad area. This is actually not Concord. It's called Walnut Creek, and it's the richest part
of. Is this in NorCal?
Yeah, of Northern California. It's one of the richest areas.
SoCal's more where it gets a little dicey for sure.
So like it's not even like one would expect that from this area, because I know a lot of people are like, oh well, it's California. I get it. I'm from California. I grew up. I was born in like San Diego. I was born in the ghetto of San Diego. Basically, I lived there for the longest. So there are bad parts of even nice cities, you know. But it's not that where this show is at. This is targeted by the people, the criminals. I can almost guarantee you, they probably didn't go to the show, not for the cards themselves. They probably heard, because of all the marketing and advertising, because the show is very well advertised, that there's going to be a card show that day. They knew when it was ending because it was advertised the end of the day. They knew that basically they would have an opportunity if they came at the end of the day. I hate to say it, rob a couple of nerds, because like,
well, it's not just the nerds thing, but it's also like, and this goes to
it's a lot of cash too. It's
that,
cash.
but it's and this goes to like other industries that I've worked in before, but it's the fact that there is little to no recourse, right? It's the same thing in the medical. We'll
You
just
don't
call
expect a Pokemon vendor to have a fucking Glock that they're gonna pull out and shoot.
well,
back,
not just that,
you know
but
what
like
I mean?
if you tell, like, I mean, like, remember I was getting mad because I was like, we're
No, a
talking about
lot
like
of
somebody
vendors were joking that they're going to start bringing their guns to the shows to start like protect, which is crazy that you have people in the
yeah,
car
yeah, no,
talking about
not
they
even
feel
that
carry.
kind of recourse, but I'm saying more so like actual legal recourse, like
Oh
because
yeah,
remember we were talking about I can't remember what it was, but I think it was last podcast or something. We were talking about somebody got stole from, and there was like literal video evidence, and but the person like still didn't get their shit back or still didn't get their money back, and I was like, well, what the hell's the point of the drama channels then? Like if you guys aren't actually like helping anybody get anything back, and there's no like actual legal recourse or whatever, then like what the hell's the point? Like you're not doing anything for anybody. And so I think that people, it's kind of like how businesses won't set up in certain cities that have more like liberal policy around theft because people know, okay, well, under $700 or whatever the cutoff is, it's not even like, it's like a misdemeanor. Like you're not even going to go to jail for theft. So people will just go in and steal stuff from stores because they know they can get away with it. It's the same thing with cards. It's like if you see people steal stuff, it gets caught on video, but nothing happens to the person that actually stole the stuff. Yeah, you're gonna pull up with a stick and be like, "Yo, run it." You know what I mean? Like, of course you're gonna do that, and like it sucks, but it's like this is like
so
the
what
world
my
that we live
question is,
in. Like,
where do we go from here? Like what's the response that is made by these shows? Like to have big bazookas now, you got armed guards in
nah,
the lodge.
I I think that you got to have like designated vendor parking probably, and you need to have a security that isn't some like 65-year-old that is just sitting there like on their phone playing Candy Crush. Because I mean, like that. To be honest, like that's how it is most of the time. And to be complete, like we're like even in Tacoma, like the area that we do the thing, like Tacoma is not like Tacoma, like certain like probably 5 minutes from where we do the card show, the front row one that you come to is an area called Hilltop, which is like a famous Crip neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So like that's not a place that you want to be like caught slipping in. It's not to say like, oh, you can't go there. Like, I mean, there's tons of good food in Hilltop and stuff like that. So it's not to say like you can't go there and have a good time, but it's like you definitely want to make sure that you're not wearing the wrong colors, and you definitely want to make sure that your shit's locked and that you're not flashing cat. Like there's just certain things that you need to do when you go to areas like that. But I feel relatively safe because it's within a parking garage in a hotel. There's tons of cameras, all that kind of stuff. So like,
Okay, so front row runs a really tight ship, and so that's one
yeah,
thing that's kind of where I was going with this. Like, where's the action that can be taken? Is like, I think really the only thing that can be done is for preventative action is to become extra more strict on like the policy side of like things, so that you can kind of both monitor and prevent these types of things from being able to happen in the first place. And people gripe a lot about like the front row card shows, like the vendor badge thing and like the vendor check-in area, how they only let people in once you sign in with your ID. It has to match, the name has to match, you have to tell them a week before the show, before it even comes up, you have to email them. It's like a really secure way so that everyone who's there involved, is either a vendor, or if they're not a vendor, they have their ID and their name, and there's like cameras everywhere, so it's very secure. Like these local shows that oftentimes are in smaller areas that aren't more professionally run are getting to the point where they're big, like these bigger like regional shows, but they haven't grown their procedures like they have. So what we're seeing and experiencing is growing pains, and so I think that I'm hoping that what we'll see is like this is a call to action more for these showrunners to basically grow with their shows instead of letting it be sort of something that could very easily like hurt their shows and make people not comfortable to go. Because like the showrunner very easily, so this next show, we have another show with the same showrunner this month, and so he had to do something at the next show to show that he was going to do more. And so he's already announced like several different measures that are put in place that made both myself and other vendors kind of feel I think, I don't want to speak for other vendors, but much more comfortable with the show.
I mean,
And
I don't know what kind of stuff you have to sign as far as liability for like these smaller shows, and like I don't even know technically what law would be like. But if it were me personally, if I was a showrunner and that kind of stuff happened, me personally, I would. It's like it's short term running off on the plug thinking versus like long term. How do we build a business and a consistent relationship? And for me, if someone got robbed at my show because of my negligence, regardless of what the legality of that was, I like whatever they got robbed for, I would issue them a full refund. Like no questions asked, no bullshit. Because to me, it's just like that's just how I do bit. Like I don't leave the door open for any sort of like, oh well, Retro didn't make it right. Like never, 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 never. Like I go above and beyond. Like one time some guy was like, hey, like I opened a couple boxes on stream and like I don't know, like the rest of the boxes were fine, but like this one I felt like I didn't get as many hits or whatever. And so I had him send me the video. I showed it to my buddy. He was like, no, everything looks fine or whatever. And like he got like an addition of like a different type of hit that didn't get enough. Anyways, like whatever it was, I was like, okay, like what sounds fair? And he was like, I didn't even want like a refund or anything. I just wanted to bring it to your attention in case there was an issue. And I think it was like 2 boxes and the total would have been like $150 or whatever. And I was like, like, first of all, like, thank you for like not even being like, I want a refund. But I was like, I am going to issue a refund because like, I care about you and your the brand that you're building and all, and I would never want to do anything to like jeopardize that or anything like that. So I sent the dude $200 because it's like what I just don't want to ever leave the door open for like any sort of like even like shit happens like I've opened hundreds of Japanese cases, and from the same case there will be a box that is super tight with the shrink wrap and a box right next to it that is super in the same case. So like quality control when you're producing hundreds of thousands, millions of these items, like stuff just happens. I pulled like you pull like I'm sure you pulled cards that are upside down or in backwards. I pulled English packs, Japanese packs where there's like an extra card or a card, like shit just happens. It is what it is. But at the same time, it's like show running, you have this extra responsibility that to me, it's like, okay, well, would you rather have the attention of like someone got robbed at gunpoint at my show and I was just like whoopsie poopsie? You know what I'm saying? It's like, to me, like me personally, I would do something to make it right.
About $15,000 was robbed between those 2 people.
Dog, you're gonna make that up in 3 shows.
Like, I'm just saying, like that's about the amount that you'd be shelling out at this point if that was the case. But at the same time, I guess who's to say who's at fault at that realm? Because even if there was,
I'm not saying that it's their fault, but like it's. So, okay, I learned about this in business law. This is crazy. It might be different in other states, but in I'm trying to remember the legal term, but like in Washington State, there's this thing called like it's called like attractive nuisance or something like that. But basically, it's like, okay, if you have a playground in your backyard or a pool or something like that in your backyard, someone can break into your house or like go onto your private, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I'm just telling you what it is. Someone can go onto your private property while you're not home, and like let's say someone like breaks their arm or injures themselves on your backyard playground or drowns in your pool, you are liable for that, which is crazy, right? It's crazy. It's like, yo, like you broke into my house and hurt yourself in my pool, and now like I'm at fault. But it's I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like you want to run a show. You want to get paid to, and like, well, what are you running the show for? Like, you're facilitating the buying, selling, trading, all that sort of stuff. But you can't do that and not facilitate safety. Like, people need to feel comfortable, not only that, like, you're going to do enough to promote the show that gets people to come to the show to buy, sell, trade, to transact, but also like they want to feel like they're not going to get jacked. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like goes or should go without saying. And like, even Collecticon. Dude, I remember we went to Houston and I'm thinking like, yo, it's Houston. Everybody's strapped. Like there's going to be tons of cops with ARs. Went to Houston or Dallas, Fort Worth or whatever it was. That show was massive. I think I saw 2 cops. It's like, there's no way in hell that 2 cops are patrolling this into like, that's just crazy, dude.
I don't think that the way that you're describing is how any showrunner operates though, unfortunately. Because if that was the case,
maybe we should start our own show, because it's like, bro, you guys
no,
are
no,
making.
no. I'm not starting. I'm not starting a show with you if that's your operation,
bro. Like, how much can it be to hire like a retired military dude from like like, I mean, shit, we could probably pull it up or something. But I'm thinking like, bro, it can't be more than like.
My point is, even with the retired military guy, even with that dude standing right in front of you, who's to say that that guy is not going to just turn around and not do anything about it, or watch it happen? You know what I mean? Or get cold feet because he's like, I don't get paid enough for this to deal with an armed robbery. Yeah, sure, I have an arm, but that's like
what you're getting paid for. That's literally
still,
what
I
you're
can
getting
imagine
paid
a situation
for.
where an armed security guard doesn't do his job, and then whose fault is it then?
Well, think about some dispensaries, like most dispensaries, like less so. Well, if you go into Seattle, like the bigger ones, definitely. But like in California, almost every dispensary has a military or police officer inside the store at all times.
But we had that. That's what my thing is. We had that. It just wasn't in the parking lot at that point. So it's like, even with that in place, it's like, where is the line? How many do you need to have? And I will say right now, you and I are never starting a show together, because we are not going to use that logic to refund everything that's stolen at the show, because we'd be
no. Like, that's
you know how much theft happens. I didn't even tell you about the 2 cards that got pulled out of my binder.
Yeah, no, you should be responsible for, like, I think armed robbery on the premises versus like, yo, you got caught slipping because you weren't paying attention. Like, it sucks.
But even then, how can you be responsible for armed robbery, bro? That's such a I'm
thing not saying you're right. Okay. Okay, look at this. Was James responsible for CGC grading fake cards? No,
and he probably shouldn't have done what he did.
He still paid for it, and it's like, he
should not have paid it out. He should have waited for CGC to do what they're doing and then done that. That would have been a smart business move. He's an ethical person, though.
I think that the ethics, though,
all the time.
I think that the intangible side of it, which is the ethics, I think that goes. So, like, okay, and I know it didn't work out great for him. Like, he made the video and he was like, yo, y'all just bitch and complain anyway, so I'm not going to do this in the future. But like, when Brian did the MSR,
I didn't even see that.
Listen, no. I'm talking. This is PokeNE. So like, when Brian did the what was it? Journey Together, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's freaking out. Oh, Journey Together, so expensive. It's not. I'm sorry. Like, Brian's a businessman. He doesn't give a shit about the people that are like Emmett. Like, he knows what it is. Like, he understands that the people complaining about MSRP are babies, and that when the market corrects or whatever, that they're not going to pay him more just because he did a good, like, he gets that. But he also understands that pandering or offering things at MSRP when he doesn't need to earns him a ton of goodwill. So like, when he did that, when he was like, yo, you know, sign up for this email list, whatever, like, I'm going to make it so that like people can get, you know, one of each SKU or whatever it is, and try to make it as fair as possible. For him, it's like, okay, well, like, let's say he got 1,000 boxes, 1,000 booster boxes, and MSRP is like what, like 170, and they were selling for, let's just say 250 to keep the math easy, right? So a Timmy, like a runoff on the plug mindset type person, a short-term person will go, well, bro, like, you're selling them at 170, but like, you could get 250. That's an $80 spread across the 1,000 boxes. That's $80,000. And for a lot of people, they're like, oh, dude, $80,000 is life-changing money. And like, it absolutely is. I'm not downplaying that. But Brian got like, what was it? He got like 21,000 people to join the email list. Who gives a shit about the $80,000? Brian's going to be here for the next 3, 5, 10, 15, whatever. He just got 21,000 people to join a fucking email, and he's going to make money anyways on the product. So it's like that intangible goodwill that he earned from doing that is worth infinitely more than the
intangible. That's very tangible. That's extremely tangible. He knew going forward that would give him goodwill for the pain in the ass and the money he was leaving on the table. It would get him more of the like a virality to it. So there is a tangible level of success.
That's what I'm saying, is that's exactly what James did. Is like, I messaged him too, because like, I had been talking with some people that were like higher up and dealing with CGC, and they were telling me stuff like, yo, here's what CGC, before CGC even made like an announcement. So I messaged James and I was like, I don't know, man, like, you might want to like chill out for a second. But looking back on it, him getting in front of like Probstein and Golden and Drip and Alt and all these other auction and Fanatics, him being the first person to say, hey, we're refunding everything, no questions asked. I'm not going to wait, because not only is it waiting for the payout to come from CGC, it's what you could have done with the money in the meantime that you're losing out on. And like, for me, for James to have done that, was it like the technically smartest thing on paper? No. But in the long term, is that going to pay off better because James did that first instead of these other big auction houses like Pro? It's like, bro, if you're out here before Probstein and Golden saying that you're going to pay people out, what does that earn you in the long term? And so again, I'm not trying to say that like I'm not trying to say even that your showrunner is responsible for what happened in the parking lot. I'm saying if I was that showrunner and my, you know, trajectory was headed upward, I was doing more shows, I was getting more interest, I was having to go to like bigger buildings because more vendors wanted to come and more people wanted to come to the show. It's like, bro, I'm going to make that money up anyways. And the other thing is this is going to happen at other shows. So if you come out and you go viral off the fact that you're like, someone got jacked for 15 bands in the parking lot, and even though it was no fault of mine, I'm refunding it because that's the kind of business person I am. How much interest do you think that's going to drive, and how much money do you think you're going to make off that in the future? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what I'm saying is like, it's short-term mindset, it's running off on the plug mindset versus like, what is this going to do for me in the long term? And it's scarcity mindset to think that like doing a good thing for people is not going to pay off. And yeah, I don't know. Like
I would agree a lot with you if I felt like the people who were involved or who were victimized at the show, like the people who were in the theft themselves, felt as if the showrunner needed to do more, had some fault in it, or really had some level of like they needed to do more, I guess. I don't know that to be a fact or not, though. I know that a lot of the community feels like the showrunner should have done more, and I, for a fact, also feel like at the time, it just feels like there was some level of fault for the showrunner. So I'm playing devil's advocate to a certain extent when I'm saying the showrunner is not at fault at all because of the armed robbery, because I do think there's a level. I
don't think they're at fault either. Like
But I do think there's a level of responsibility there that needs to be taken by the showrunner. I'm with you. I'm just not quite at the like refund the 15 grand worth of sales level of responsibility. I think I'm more at like at the next show, I'm going to provide bigger, better security. I'm going to let all my people know that like, you don't have to worry about anything. I'm sorry about what happened last time. I'm going to take that level of responsibility. It's like, but not like the financial responsibility, because I don't think that would be something anyone could expect per se, because I think the cops may be able to get the money back for them, if anything, or you know, the legal system.
That's not, yeah, I mean, I guess like if that ended up happening, but that's what I'm saying is like, just from what I've seen, just from talking to you, because I don't watch the drama shit, like I haven't seen a whole lot of like actual recourse, like people that have gotten stuff happen to them, like they get their money back. Like as far as I understand, CGC is doing a good job at refunding people for the Akabane, you know, whirly do mixaroo. But you know, like I don't know, man. Like I just feel like you have to
the line is not, it's a fuzzy line, you know what I mean? It's not a clear line. That's why I think it's really good when these showrunners go above and beyond to make that line more and more clear, where their responsibility lies and where yours kind of lies. And a lot of these showrunners don't do that. Like I know with this show, it's a very like, you send a Venmo or a PayPal to the showrunner, he confirms via a text message saying that you're good for whatever date it is, and that's like your receipt. It's not like you sign a form, a release form, or anything big and official like it is with the Front Row Card Show, where I feel like I'm reading a freaking 5-page document every time I'm signing for another table. So, and it's got everything down to your parking space and down to your badge number and like where your table's at. It's pre-assigned. Like, I think it's just levels. And like I said, I do think it's just growing pains to a certain extent. I don't think it's entirely on the showrunner, though. And I definitely don't think it's all on like the victim.
I don't think it at all. I'm not saying it's their fault that somebody got stole from, but what I'm trying to say is like, if that is gonna be your business, like you can't just constantly be like I'm not saying it's literally your fault, but I'm saying if you want to get bigger, if you want people to trust you, if you're in this for the long term, you need to be what's you
So
need
if
to
I were the showrunner,
you need to be
my response
proactive,
is no
like
more,
not
never again.
like
If
you
it
need
ever
you need
happens
to
again,
be
I wouldn't be happy.
you need to be proactive, not
Yeah.
reactionary. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's say
So
you
that
have
it doesn't happen again. Basically, you have to be more proactive. Yes, I
yeah,
agree.
like to me, like what would it cost, one-time cost, to pay for every section to have a camera?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
how
Or
much
if
would that?
not
It's like, dude,
camera,
if
more stationary security guards.
yeah, if you're gonna
Something. Yeah.
if you're gonna pay, okay, like look, let's say it costs you an extra $600 a weekend for a security guard or whatever, fine. But it's like, what would it cost you for like those vendor POV cameras? Like
Yeah.
how much are people? How much do those, like those can't be more than $100.
Yep.
You buy 50 of those. That's like a one-time $5,000 cost. Those are going to like some live feed. You pay like people to watch those or whatever. And then at like, not only is it going to deter people, but then you have every single section on camera. That probably helps with your insurance, because I know these Collecticon and these big shows, they have insurance policies. So how much less are you going to pay in insurance potentially if you say, well, now we have cameras on literally every set? And again, it's like, let's even round up $10,000, a one-time cost of $10,000, and you go around and you take these cameras to every single show that you do. If you're doing some of these shows are doing 20 shows a year. What the
So
fuck is
that in combination,
$10,000? Like when you're doing
yeah, so
20 shows a year.
that alone would be amazing security in combination with a camera at the door for every person who walks in, and then having everyone have a ticket. So if you have a ticketed event and you get everyone who walks in the room with on camera right when they come in, and you have these cameras stationed at all the tables, you can immediately, you can basically completely negate theft, unless you're at a blind spot where you can't really see, or there's some sort of a blockage on the camera. Whatever, excluding those types of situations, the inside of your event can be completely locked down for what we would say probably is like less than $10,000, and a little bit of a pain in the ass to set up and break down at the end of each show, because you're going to have to put them up and then take them down. And then when something happens, you're going to have to go through and review the data. So there's time and effort associated with that. So you're talking about a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you can ensure that everything inside your event is completely safe. And that, as a showrunner, is all you can really do. You can't do what's outside of your event. You can maybe guarantee your parking lot if you can station security within the parking lot on the premise, as long as people don't park outside of like the event. Maybe then, but like all you can really hope to do in my thought is to prevent theft inside of the event, because you have complete control. Unless it's a free event where it's just anyone can come, like a free-for-all, you have control over who comes in the room. It's all on the corner,
Yeah, well, and Tom here says, I'm failing to understand where an event coordinator provides protection and security in a public dog. It's like, have you ever been to a concert? Like, what are you talking about, dog? Like, you think Eminem is just walking through general admission to get to the stage? It's like, I know it's a little bit different because people are there's hundreds of vendors at these shows, but it's like, it's very commonplace when you doing it. I mean, just in industries I was in, when you would vend to a shop, you would go into the shop first. They would you would go back down to your car with a security guard, and they would escort you to the shop. Like this is not unusual.
In these levels of, like, when you're dealing with this amount of cash and product, that there should be a level of security involved. I would argue there's an understanding about that there should be by a showrunner, and if there's not, that showrunner has no business doing this at all. Like, you should have to explain that.
And like, look, like I don't want to get like super like political. Like I'm totally not a fan of like too much government intervention, too much like oversight and being all up in your business and stuff like that. But to me, it's like you might not have a legal responsibility to people's safety, but it's like if you're going to run a business and you're just going to be negligent to like potential risks, I mean, like that's not. And look, and it's crazy too, because the bigger things get, the worse it gets. A year ago, a year and a half ago, we weren't really talking about stuff like this. Yeah, people were stealing cards out of binders, and someone would get a binder stolen or like a slab stolen every once in a while, whatever. But like, dude, we weren't talking about people Yeah, people were not getting the stick pulled on them at a card show a year and a half ago. So like as the hobby gets big, and it was
A
like you were
show
saying
that I
earlier,
was at, bro. That was the show. I was in the parking lot less than
yeah,
5 minutes. It's crazy. I had all those Japanese boxes right there on me. It's like wild.
yeah, it's scary, man. Like it's just growing pains. It really, and that's why I was saying too. Like I wonder what the national, because the national's in like Chicago normally, right? So like that's probably got its own security risks and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, what? Because the national definitely ain't playing when it comes to their reputation, right? Like that is the #1 card show in the nation, as far as I understand. So it's like well, what are they doing? Like figure out what they're doing and
So
emulate it. I get
so
like I don't know.
this situation caused me as a vendor, and I know I'm not the only one, to directly text the showrunner of my next 3 shows and say, hey, are you doing anything extra for security? Because I kind of want more for security. Because like if it happens again at the next show, like if this type of armed robbery, break in the parking lot, anything like that happens again at the next show, I guarantee you I will not be I will be very seriously reconsidering ever going to that show again. Because that's like, fool me once, sure, shame on me. Fool me twice, not so much. So like, I don't think that that's going to be a
So wait,
situation.
okay. Did they actually? You're saying that Tesla caught the video of this happening on camera, like 100%?
Yeah.
So
So there
these
were
people are cooked, right? Like they're going to jail.
so not only did so I heard there were 3 Teslas, and one of the Teslas, the picture that got out and went viral of the suspect's face as they're robbing the guy, that most people have seen because Rattle made a video about it and it's been like all over social media. And so anyway, the video that people know that they've seen the photo, that's the only one that's gone public. From what I know, the cops have 2 other videos from other Teslas, one of which is the license plate of the car driving away, and the other one has the guy's face again. So
Bullish
like,
on Tesla, baby. At all Seattle shows, I will be charging $10 to park next to Retro. The Cybertruck will save you, dog. You'll be. I'm bulletproof in the Cybertruck. You park next to me, you're safe, bro. I promise you.
yeah,
Nah, man,
it's so funny to me that the hotel camera. It's not funny. It's really not funny at all. But it's just ironic that the cameras of the cars in the parking lot got it, which they're parked, but not the cameras that were stationed at the hotel. That to me is like criminal. And if I were the hotel, I would immediately be changing those out. So, oh no.
yeah. All right. Let's go.
And that it was probably knowing it was the East Bay, it was a lifted car, and it's small chance the plate matters.
Alex says you can hire Nostalgianomics to market for you, Josh. Alex is getting the plug in. He wants
Not
to,
only is he going to be marketing, I'm going to be paying for his marketing. I will be sending him some of my product to these guys to open.
You really?
Yeah, I'm going to send Alex as
Okay.
well as some of my other friends who stream free mystery packs to open up and give away. They're not allowed to keep them. They have to give them to after they open them, they have to give them to their audience. But I'm going to do a little free marketing for myself and then give away some on other channels. So
I'm sure Alex would have no problem with that anyways. I mean, as far as I understand, if people like he keeps a box of like cheapy kind of hits and stuff, because if people don't get anything when they open packs, and again, like that's another thing. It's like that is long-term business versus like short-term mindset, scarcity mindset. It's like, does Alex need to do that? No. Is he responsible for you buying 10 packs and bricking your life away? No. But he has ethics. He cares about people. And so he's like, all right, well, I feel bad you didn't hit anything. So like, I'm going to at least throw something in for, you know, and like that goes a long way for me. Like, I feel like that kind of stuff is important. And that's what separates people that are, and like, look, it sucks. Like what I'm saying, like, I'm not telling you it's fun, but like, I personally will go above and beyond and always make stuff right or whatever. And like that to me, one, like I never want to like do anything to end up on like a bad channel or anything like that. And but even beyond, like even if there wasn't a risk of that, like it's just like do the right thing. And like if you, word of mouth is so important in business, and not just in this hobby, but like just in general. And it's like, man, as soon as you sour that, that's it. Like as soon as it's like the whole, it's the same thing with relationships. It's like it takes forever to build trust, but it like takes like one instance to break trust, and then it's like broken for maybe not forever, but definitely for a long time. It's the same thing, man. It's like, yeah, I don't know, like that shit just matters a lot to me. And it's like, even if it isn't the most financially responsible thing, it's like in the long term, I feel like you have to believe that kind of stuff is gonna pay off. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, we've talked this one to death. Do you have any other things, or should we?
No, I was gonna say, speaking of long term, I'd say I've said about all I need to say about it. You're gonna see me coming strapped with my sawed-off shotgun across my back and my katana at my waist. So don't try to steal anything from the old card shop. You'll get cut in half and then blown in half if you do anything funny, buddy. So. And I'm pretty good aim too, so don't try to drive away either. This is a warning to all criminals out there.
Imagine a mystery box salesman with a bear hat and a sawed-off shotgun. I don't know if there's a
scary man. You don't want to fuck with that, man.
I'm bearish on the market and I'm strapped. That could be your calling card.
Speaking of the market, though, we will use that to springboard onto our next topic. Is Pokemon crashing Reed healing? Question mark, because what I've seen in the last 2 to 3 weeks has been quite, what can we say, refreshing, to say the least. And what I've been seeing is a general decline in almost everything across the board, from some of the biggest hits in Scarlet and Violet going down 25 to 45, almost 50%. Like looking at you, Pikachu, from Surging Sparks. And then some from other things like Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, like Destined Rivals, pre-ordering for $350, not 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at this point. Now coming down to like $275, $250, which is roughly where like Surging Sparks was pre-ordering at. And I would wager to say that Surging Sparks was less of a hype set than Destined Rivals.
No. Surging Sparks was pre-ordering at like 100, 110.
Was it?
Yeah, dude, you could buy it.
Oh, that's right. It was after pre-orders. It went way over 200. My bad.
Yeah. Like I think after release,
we're not there. So we're still way above where it's at. So that again goes to my point, though. The market is coming down on Destined Rivals, though, a little bit, and so that's sort of nice to see in a certain extent. But do we think that the Oh, and also I guess you could say Journey Together is like MSRP now. It's like not really even over MSRP, so. That's kind of a
hold on. We gotta fact check this. Okay.
What I'm saying is like what I can get it for at a local card show from a dealer not on TCG Player. So like 180 is what I can get it for, 175, 180. And I think most people watching can get it for 175 or 180 shipped, even from Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Yeah, like 180, 175, 180. I get it for 175 even.
It looks like
so that might be without fees. So you might be having to talk about tax and shipping involved. So like a little over 200, but we'll call that getting closer to MSRP. Do we feel like the market's healing at all, or am I tripping?
Dog, leading up to going to Hawaii, I had the most insane 3-day order total of my life. Like literally, it was.
Well, it was Team insane. Rocket. That was literally the lead up to Team Rocket.
Team Rocket was like 40%, which like, yeah, okay, it's a lot, but it was like 40% of the sales. And it was the week after Team Rocket. But like, dude, people were ordering other stuff too. And it did not stop. Like the first day I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is not repeatable. And then it happened another 2 days in a row. And I was like, yo, like it. And it hasn't gone back. Like even like the whole time I was gone to Hawaii, like every time I would accept orders, like I took the weekend off and then I went back to accepting orders and it was like another crazy day. And like it's just been nonstop, dude. And it's funny because like obviously I wasn't watching content while I was gone. I come back, I had a bunch of stuff added to my watch later. I don't watch a ton of Pokemon stuff, just the homies, but like I added all this stuff to my watch later. I come back, I'm like 2xing through all these videos. And the whole like talking point is like the market is we're seeing cracks in the market. We've topped, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you guys talking about? I was gone for a week and the market's going to zero. Like, what the hell are you talking? Like, I don't. So I'm looking right now, and it looks like Journey is like 2 to 210 on eBay. Destined Rivals is 270. Looks like if it looks like a boom and smells like a boom, it's a boom to me, bro. Like I don't know about that. Like it's so hard for me to divorce myself from the data. Like all these people are saying like, yeah, like the market's slowing down, man. Like summertime slowdown and like there's cracks in the market. It's like, what are you guys talking about? Like, we just went on the most insane run we've ever had in history, and Journey Together, which is like an okay set, is still $200 a box. Like, what? Like, what are we worried about? Like, I don't like, it's okay. Think about this. Obsidian Flames. So, because a lot of the criticism around Journey Together was it's a smaller set, right? It's a smaller set. It's more trainer heavy, more waifu heavy, more for Japanese. It's a smaller set. It's still $200. Obsidian Flames was a Charizard set with a Ninetales and a Scizor, which are like, you know, maybe BC tier Pokemon, but like still more popular than Belly Bolt and stuff like that. Small set. What happened to Obsidian Flames? Those boxes were like $80 to $90. And the chase card was like $30 to $40 raw near mint. That was a Charizard set. This is a set where the main hit is Clefairy, and it's $200. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that doesn't seem bearish to me. That still seems overpriced. If it was like $120, then I'd maybe have something to talk about. But like, dog, $200 Journey Together booster box is crazy. And $270, like, I know Destin Rivals is like, look, Destin Rivals is going to be one of the ones people are hyped on. Rocket. Heat Wave is crazy. Love the Typhlosion, really good art. So like the combination of those two in English it's going to be insane. Like, it's going to be a nutso set. There's all different types of stuff for people to chase. It's $270 a booster box out the gate. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I can't. I don't know, man.
Down more. I think it's coming down more.
It probably will, but like, I don't know. Like, I heard a couple people. I can't remember if it's like Dan or whoever, but
you have to assume some of these people in the Pokemon market have never seen prices come down even 10, 15, 20%. They've only experienced the Pokemon go up because that's what they know. And so when they experience that 15, 20% decline, which is about what we're seeing, it's about a 15% across the board, I would say, on just a lot of like bigger singles and hits and just things have gone more stagnant than they have been growing. And we're seeing, like we said, the Rocket set go down instead of up for pre-orders. Because it started out so high. I think what we're seeing is not necessarily a crashing market, but like I sort of said in the title down there, a healing market. I still don't think it's a healthy market. I personally wouldn't be buying a single thing in this Scarlet and Violet era market. There's one small exception that I might buy, and it would be like 151 possibly. And there's only a couple products of 151 I would want at this point too, because the pricing. Like, you're not touching ETBs. I'm not touching the ultra premium collections. I'm only buying basically the Costco 10 boxes and the poster collection boxes. So anything with
I think 151's a buy, bro. I really do. I think they're gonna do one more drop supposedly on the 24th. Like, I'm in a couple wholesale groups, and someone told me on the 24th the Zapdos collection, but those are like 6-8 packs. Like, that ain't gonna do anything with the market. Like, that's not gonna do anything. So like, I would say honestly, like, I haven't really looked at it. Maybe I'll do it on like Monday when I do the Macro Monday stuff. But like, honestly, like, I would potentially look, like, if you want to collect, like if you want to find value in Scarlet and Violet, I'll probably look at like the early sets and look at the chase cards. If those have come down a good amount in like PSA 10 or raw, maybe like it's time to pick that stuff up, because it's like those boxes probably aren't getting reprinted, and the boxes are they're kind of expensive already. So it's like, if you don't want to buy a box and you just want to get the card you want, and the cards come down a lot, like maybe you buy. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really track like.
I disagree with that take to a certain extent, just because I think that we are getting a lot more reprints of Scarlet and Violet, even those early sets potentially.
Really? You think like leading up to Surging, they're going to go back and hit like Paldea Evolved and all that stuff? You really think that there's going to be more of that?
Maybe not a lot, but potentially a little. I don't think it's out of the question. And I think we've seen such a meteoric rise on a lot of that stuff that it would be sort of foolish to buy when that rise has already been captured, because I think what we're going to see is either stagnation or potential like declines. I do think though. Oh, thank you for the super chat, AMPM Pokemon. We appreciate that. I just, now that Nick pulled it up, I don't know how I missed that. That was a while ago.
It's like, it does it on a separate, it's the one that says start. It's like a separate tab on StreamYard, but I wanted to pull that up because
I totally missed that until you did. AMP and Pokemon, thank you so much. We love it too. It's been in hibernation for a couple of years here, but I used my first possible chance. We haven't seen any decline in price, so it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek because I'm really super, super bullish on the market, but I have the bear hat on to demonstrate my point. I do think, though, we're going to see in the next 6 months, because good Lord, Nick, we have a black and white set coming out. And I know that there's some people in this chat, and probably at least 12 people in the whole world, who are probably really excited about the black and white set. But I couldn't tell you at least 3 Pokemon from black and white besides Reshiram, Zekrom, and Victini. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know Victini was from black and white until I just saw the reveals. So I don't know how many other people are going to be excited about. I don't know. What do we got?
Colson's probably hyped, right? Colson loves black and white.
Oh, no. We got the Vanillite line. Yeah, Nick, here. No, people are going to be fun. They're going to like chasing a Lola Mola, I bet. That's probably fun, right? No,
Lola Mola? What the hell is a Lola Mola? That is not real.
What about Electros? Oh, yeah. Electros is super popular, right?
My God.
Okay, hold up, though. Chandelure is Gen 5, and I want to say that Chandelure is one of my favorite Pokemon. So I was today a year old when I figured out that there's a Chandelure in Gen 5, and I might have to talk a little bit softer about black and white because I do like Chandelure.
I'm pulling up the Pokédex right now because admittedly, like, I'm not the best. Like, I never played black and white, so I don't really know.
It's real dark. I'm gonna switch over.
Okay, I like the monkeys. I like the Pansage, Panseer, and Panpour. I like those. Those are cool. Ooh, Conkeldurr. That's a yikers. I don't know about that one, big dog. Ooh.
So this is gonna be the worst possible set that their generation they could have made. One of the best possible sets they've ever made. You know what I mean? So let me put it this way.
Dog, come on. I don't know about that one.
Pokemon is getting an alternate art in the black and white era. They had an opportunity to do Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4. I'm not saying everything needs to be Gen 1. I'm not saying make another 151 chat. I'm just saying make anything but black and white. Literally anything. Like they could have done the generation they're on right now. They could have went and made a the newest generation, the Scarlet and Violet one, and done every Pokemon, and I would have been more okay with it than a black and white Pokemon Pokedex. So I think that this is going to be just what we needed for the hobby to go back to what we were just saying to the healing. These two topics go hand in hand. The hobby crashing and healing and a black and white set coming all at the same time. This is not a coincidence, chat. This is what we need. Anyone who's saying that we wanted this and we needed this black and white set and that this is a targeted release at the younger generation, they're right. We needed it, but we needed it for the complete wrong reason. We needed it so we could catch up on Prismatic Evolutions, Surging Sparks. We could catch up on all these like better sets, literally every other set besides this one.
Hold on. It's going to be specialty in English, and what's kind of crazy too is like from what I understand, they're releasing simultaneously. Like they're the Japanese, and I don't know if you can pull different cards. Like I imagine maybe you can only get like the Zekrom in the black box and then the Reshiram in the white box. But like, is it 2 different sets in Japanese, or is it just like
it's black Flash or white Flash and black Bolt, I think. Or
yeah, but they're coming out on the same day, which normally never happens. So that makes me think it's going to be a specialty set in English because Rocket wasn't. And if that's the case, I don't know, bro. Like I feel okay, look. I personally, I've never played black and white, so I don't have a huge connection to it. But
nobody does. Nobody has a connection to it, Nick.
Dude, look at how much people are paying for like and Reshiram and stuff like that. And you look at like the Zekrom and the Reshiram, like the old ones, and like I know they're harder to grade in English and blah blah blah, but like those are expensive cards and they're expensive in Japanese too. Like the metal chain deck, or maybe the metal chain deck is Dialga, so that's like Diamond and Pearl. Never mind. It's not going to make
anyone happy. My take is not going to make anyone happy. I know I'm not going to make any friends with this because the people who like black and white are really diehard. Here's what I'll say.
Okay, people were buying Bax Caliber because it was a Komiya. So like, you really think that like if Bax Caliber line can rip because it's Komiya art, that a set where literally every single card has either an AR or an SAR is not going to do well in this market. Like, I don't
They're all
know,
going
but
to be
like,
less than $1.
if people are paying $200 a booster, because it's like, to your point, like, oh, no one cares about this Pokemon. No one cares about Belly Bolt and the other stuff that's
They
like
still don't. They still don't. Yeah.
like no, but like people like Zoroa and Zoroark and stuff like that. Like, I remember saying, I can't remember if it was this podcast or another one, but I remember saying, like, maybe the black and white slows things down. But now after we've seen it, I'm like, because
they're trying to compensate for the fact that it's the worst possible line of Pokemon they could ever choose. So they're giving it the juiced lineup that they could have given to any other set, and we would have been literally still going to like the rocket ships. So maybe you're right. Maybe we did
agree with you. I agree with you. I think that what they're trying to do though is like, because the EX with Scarlet and Violet is like supposed to be like EX era, and then what comes after, I mean, I guess Diamond and Pearl is in there too, but it's like the EX era, and then it goes into Black and White, and then it goes into XY, which is the Megas. So if like the Mega thing is going to be coming out, I actually think, and like, look, dude, I'm so unbelievably bullish. Like, these next few videos, they're gonna make you want to jump. So like, stay tuned for these pre-recorded videos that I'm about to put out. But like, I think it's actually so smart the way Pokemon, because as far as I remember, there was no transition from the end of Platinum or whatever into Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It just happened because that's what happened with the games. This is like EX era into a Black and White specialty set, immediately into the shorter line, which is going to be the Megas at the end of Scarlet and Violet before we go into the next generation. Thematically, that's pretty gangster. It might not be what you or I are super nostalgic for, but as far as like set identity and like things making sense and not feeling random, it kind of makes sense that like between the EX era and XY with the Megas, that there would be a Black and White specialty set that bridges the gap. Maybe that's super bullish dusted. I don't know, dude. I don't like. We'll see what happens.
There's been a lot of stuff that Scarlet and Violet era has done that I really like. And one of the things I've always criticized them for, and I will continue to criticize them for, because throughout the whole era, they've shown a lack of like choice, like of what Pokemon to feature and be the main versus be the secondary hits. They sometimes would choose good Pokemon, but they wouldn't put them in the right spot. They make them like a lower hit tier when they should have been like the higher hit tier, because that's what the chase is. Like,
like
the Magikarp, the Groudon. And like what I disliked about Scarlet and Violet is the misunderstanding of that hit ratio. They also didn't do a good job with pull rates in the early times. It was like too much, and now it's like too little. So I still like they're still not at a balancing point for where they were in Sword and Shield at the end of the Sword and Shield market. So like, I'm still feeling the same way about Scarlet and Violet that I've felt about the entire generation at the very end. I thought I would change my tune towards the end of it, but it seems like that's the theme, is choosing subpar Pokemon to be the top chases, and sometimes giving okay Pokemon a slot in like the lower tier chase, and throwing us a bone that way.
Okay, hold on here. To me, the tail end of Scarlet Violet has the best, other than 151, has the best set identities that we've seen in the past like 3 to 5 years. Surging Sparks.
Set identity. What do we care about set identity? I'm talking about good set or bad set.
I think set identity is what makes stuff like. I think
Prismatic Evolutions is a trash set.
I don't know about that one.
I think all of the artworks for all of the main Eevee hits are all gaudy and really overly colorful and really, really busy in the background. I really don't like them, and way too hard to pull and too expensive out the gate. I think the Master Ball chase was a big flop, and you can see that based on the price of the English Master Balls, where the raw price, not the PSA 10 price, because PSA 10 price is just ridiculous depending on like the low pop versus high pop. That's neither here nor there for now. But the raw prices show that people don't really care that much about most of the Master Balls. They only care about the evolutions. And so I think that was a flop. And I, once again, think it's way too hard. There's not enough good hits besides the big chases in the set. So like when you get a hit in the prismatic evolutions, it's like an EX Iron Hands or like an EX Glaceon. It's not even like a illustration rare. So when we're talking about specialty sets, I think that 151 was a far superior specialty set to prismatic, even though prismatic is way more hype. People like it a lot more. It's like out the gate what people think. So like I know it's not a popular take, but my reasoning for it is I simply don't like the artwork in prismatic, and I love the artwork in basically earlier iterations of different sets.
Okay, I can see what you're saying about like the gaudiness. Like I wasn't super into like the hats and stuff like that either, but like I get it. Like I still think it's like I personally probably like the Sword and Shield evolution.
Way better than Scarlet Violet. Sword and Shield is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I prefer those personally, but I still like. And to be honest, I'm dusted, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm not even gonna hold you. I like the cheaper hits. I think the best looking arts of those Pokemon in prismatic, or rather, like I think prismatic has the best art. Like I love, like I think the Raging Bolt from Wild Force is really cool, but the Raging Bolt from prismatic is nasty. The Roaring Moon from prismatic is not, and all the other mid Pokemon, Iron Leaf, Iron Hand, whatever they are, they're mid, but they look really cool in my opinion. Like subjectively, like they look really cool in the set. And like to your point about the pull rates and stuff, it's like, dude, Evolving Skies is like what? Evolving Cries? So $1,300 box. Like people like pain. It's like what was this shit you used to say? The children yearn for the mines.
The children yearn for the mines. Yes.
That's how I kind of feel about that's how I kind of feel about yeah, I like, okay, to me, like I knew that things were, and if you go back on the podcast, like I was saying this stuff, but like Stellar Miracle was like, okay, it's not great, but it has a decent set identity and we're headed in the right direction. And then immediately after that, it went into Paradise Dragona and Super Electric Breaker. And in Japanese, I think it's really good at like setting it up for the English. So it's like, okay, Paradise Dragona is where you get, because it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like the tropical island where the dragons hang out. So like you got the Latios and the Latios, but then you got like a really cool artsy palm tree with like the Alolan Exeggutor and stuff like that. And then it's like, well, then we move into the electric Pokemon, which is like the, the Pikachu and I think Hydreigon, whatever's in that set. So like that makes sense. Like that's really good set identity to me. I don't know, man. Like, I
caught up on set identity and you're confusing with a good set versus a bad set. Like there's
that's the thing that was
really good set identity. They're just complete trash.
So one of the things that I've been seeing over the boom. So like I've had cards that I bought for like $1, $2, like black and white hollows, XY hollows, stuff like that were sitting on my, like some sold, but like I had a bunch sitting on my eBay forever. And as soon as like the boom started, and even like throughout the boom, like I guess of like the last year or so, a lot of that stagnant inventory has like moved up in value and sold through. And I think the bigger the hobby gets, because there are people, like I've heard it, like it doesn't necessarily translate into like card values and stuff like that, but like I've heard a lot of people say that they really like black and white. I have literally no connection to it. I've never played the game. I haven't watched the show. I don't know anything about it. Like literally, like the most I know about it is just from talking to Colson and stuff like that.
So it's like people who like black and white are like people who do CrossFit. There's not as many of them out there, but they're the loudest about it. They'll tell you the first time they see you, they're like, "Hey, what's up? I do CrossFit." You're like, "Oh, cool. We're not in a gym right now, so that's like not really a thing." Like you'll be not even doing Pokemon, and they'll be like, "Hey, what's up? Zekrom's really cool." And I'm like, "What? We're just at like Chipotle right now, bro. We don't have to talk about like black and white Pokemon." First of all, I don't even know who Zekrom is, but let me look that up.
I just think that like the bigger the hobby gets, there like people are gonna start filling in the air. Like I think that there's something for everyone. Like I think that there's certain Pokemon that it's like that's probably never gonna be somebody's favorite, or it's not gonna be enough people's favorite or enough people's thing that they're interested in that like they're gonna gravitate towards like paying whatever price to like get that card in a PSA 10 or whatever. But like I think that, look, if Pokemon were to release a black and white set in 2019, I think it would have flopped. But now with where we're at, I think that they can kind of get. I mean, dude, I'm Giovanni. I like the Rocket set, but like there are things that I would have liked in it that I feel like could have been callbacks to, you know, the older Rocket or Team Rocket Returns. There's things that I felt like, oh man, I wish this would have been in there. I wish that. It's cool to me. Like it's still a pretty cool set, and like if it gets to a decent price, I'm gonna load up on it. But like
the Rocket set is the first set in Scarlet and Violet, besides Surging Sparks, that I've felt really strongly about. Like, I feel both Surging Sparks and the Rocket set are both really going to be fun to open for people and exciting. And it blends both a chase of the new and the old. And it's going to be a really, really good, strong set. What I struggle with, though, is the price. And so that moves nicely into our next, that's basically what I was saying there, AMPM. I agree. The black and white fans are the loudest ones in the room. It doesn't mean that they're the most prevalent ones in the room, or that they're right even. They're just the loudest. Anyway, I will say, though, black and white, I've heard by a lot of people who actually play the games, is one of the best games of them. Like video game wise, it has a good story. It has like good mechanics.
I've heard too. Yeah.
But Pokemon's all about nostalgia, especially the TCG. So I'm not really talking about that. So I'm not trying to dump on the games.
If it was me personally, it would have been Gen 3, doggy. Like that's for me. Yeah. Like I don't understand why they haven't
given Gen 3, and I agree.
Gen 3, great, like so I don't know. Like if it was me, it's like, bro, like y'all need to like. I mean, even Johto too. It's like Johto hasn't gotten a ton. Like we finally got a Typhlosion, big whoop. But like, dog, there's like, if you did a Johto set, like people will go nuts. Like I don't know, man. Like. But 3 for me, like me personally, and like I grew up, like I am a 90s kid. Like I grew up with Kanto and Johto, but like for me personally, the games, Emerald, Sapphire, and Ruby was S tier, bro. And I heard somebody say it, I can't remember where it was, but like that Gen 3 has the best legendary lineup of all the games. Latios, Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon.
Hold on, you know what we didn't get yet?
Like good night, bro. Like super good night. Super.
We haven't got Rayquaza yet. I thought we'd be getting that in the Rocket set.
We're gonna be getting it in the Megas, baby. We're
getting.
I've been loading up on Rayquaza. I've been loading up. I've been loading up, dog. Just wait. There's a Mega Charizard. This Mega Charizard that comes out is about to be nasty. All that like, oh, Charizard fatigue, like that shit is out the window, bro. When they release that blue Mega Charizard. Good night.
Yeah,
good, like, oh man,
yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm so unbelievably bullish on Pokemon, bro. Like,
I don't. $200 booster boxes, though. You think we're gonna see them here to stay? And I say that because distributors are raising the prices of everything. Even when you get your boxes from distributor, the price is up higher already. So it's out the gate coming from distribution more expensive. MSRP already is done release. It's up, and like even with a slowdown, what would it take for those boxes to get back to $120, $100 a box like we were seeing right before where it should be, where from distribution it's getting it?
We need like a Night Wanderer level, like super dark bad set. Like super, super bad. Like literally nothing that anyone likes, like all boo-boo bad Pokemon, and they have to print like a decent. My girlfriend's cat is violent. Okay. I will say this because to your point earlier about Journey, I do feel that if any decent sized booster box reprint of Journey hit, that would be like $150 box, $140, $150 box.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're far off there if the supply, but it's like they're just doing so much, dude. Like they're printing like it. It's just nonstop, and it's like if you don't go, like people keep saying this shit, like okay, well maybe the beginning part of Scarlet and Violet is safe, but like from Surging Sparks on, like those are really expensive boxes, so they're gonna go back and reprint it. But it's like every single time that gets announced, nothing happens, and the reprint is so small and so spread out, or maybe it's not small, but it's so cut into so many pieces, like Rudy's been saying, and everybody has distribution now that like you're getting 5 boxes, this dude's getting 3 boxes, and it just doesn't matter. So it's like. Okay, sure. Yeah, Surging's going to get a reprint. Like, when? Like, when is that actually happening? And so, like, Journey, because it's a smaller set, it's not super popular Pokemon, blah, blah, blah. That, to me, if it got a decent sized booster box reprint, could get down to like I said, like 140 or 150. But it's like, bro, if Destin is coming out at 270, how much is it gonna? And it's Heat Wave and Rocket. So like to your point, it's gonna be a crazy good opening experience because there's so much good stuff to hit.
I really want to open that set, and I don't say that about anything. That's just, it looks like such a good set. I mean, I really like what it looks like so far with the Misty Psyduck and all the Rockets Mewtwo and the Moltres and the Cynthia's Garchomp and the Ho-Oh, Ethan's Ho-Oh. I mean, with all of that stuff in it, it just looks so juicy to me. Like, I don't even need a Gyarados. I don't need all those, like, it's going to have the Nidoking, which is badass. The Nidoking, I like that Nidoking card a lot. I like that card a lot. I think that's my favorite one out of that and the Moltres are two of my favorites. Oh, it's going to have the trainer from the Heatwave Arena. It's going to have that trainer with the Cyndaquil on it, I bet. With the 3 Pokemon in the background.
And the Slugma. Shouts out to Jake Smith. But
yeah, it's got like the cutest trainer art I've ever seen. It's got such great Pokemon in the background. I love that card.
But so, then, like, so that's another thing. So it's like, if this set is so good, because not only is it like a good set, but it's got so many different hits that people are going to be chased.
Yeah.
People are going to rip the living out of that set.
Yeah. So how does it go below 250? How does it? I don't understand. On the first wave, it can't. And yet it's trending that direction currently. So I'm wondering why or how that is. When you can get Surging Sparks at like 240, 250, how is that essentially $30 more for such a better set in my,
I mean, it's tough. Like, look, dude, like, I want things to chill out. Like, I don't want it to go into a bear market, but like, I would like for things to chill out a little bit. And I think that flush outs have to happen for bad actors to get gotten rid of. So like, as long as things stay the way it is, you're going to have bad actors. You're going to have people scamming on Whatnot. You're going to have people stealing at card shows. Like, you're going to have bad people here doing bad things and hurting people. Like, like, if it's just a gradual slowdown, a certain percentage of people will fall out, but like, you need a flush out for like bad people to be gotten rid of. And like, I just don't see it coming. Like, it's like, people keep saying like, oh, just wait. Like, Pokemon's done such a good job. Like, and like, I've even been saying it too. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, I remember Shining Fates. It was 90 in ETB, and then they printed it, and it was. But it's just like, man, are things so different now that like we can't go back to it? Like, I'll put money on it. Like, I don't think we ever see $580 cases ever again. I just don't. Like, I don't think we see sub $100 booster boxes ever again. And I think that people that disagree with that think like, oh, well, like, you just don't know it's like, no, I absolutely know what's possible, but things are just different now. It's like, they just are. Like, it's not to say
more expensive now.
Not only are things more expensive, but it's like, dude, the hobby is so, like, I remember thinking in 2021, it was like, okay, if people haven't gotten back into Pokemon now because of the panorama, like, that to me made the most sense, because it was like, I didn't even watch the Logan Paul shit. So like, it wasn't even Logan Paul for me. It was the fact that like, everybody's stuck inside and like, you immediately default to nostalgia. So to me, it was like, well, if people haven't defaulted to nostalgia now, why would they in the future? And then 151 hits and brings all these people, and then Pocket hits and brings and it's like, and that's why I made the video kind of talking about how like Pokemon is not only are they releasing these products, but like they're setting up in all these different countries. It's like the floor just keeps moving up and up and up and up. It's not to say that there can't be volatility, but like, we're going to have higher lows moving forward is what I genuinely believe. I don't think that like, I just don't think we're going to get back to $100 boost. Like, the set would, like, there would have to be such an exodus of demand. What is going to cause that? Like, why would people leave? And during 2021, people left because because the entire world changed, right? Like, but we don't have that right now. Like, that isn't what's causing this boom. Like, free stimulus check. Oh, it went up because of Logan Paul and the free stimulus checks from the government. Not this time. Like, definitely not this time. And Pokemon market, Pokemon's related to crypto and stuff. Remember that shit? The Pokemon boom front ran the stock market boom. Pokemon started taking off before stocks and crypto started taking off. So it's like all these arguments that not only other people, but like I believed in, they're bullshit. Like, it's just not true. Like, that's just not, like, things are so much bigger now than they've ever been. And even if 30% of people left, that's still not going to be enough to drop boxes down to $100. Like, and I'm not saying that like that just means everything goes straight up into the right forever. Nothing ever cools off. Nothing ever retraces. But it's like, I just don't see it. I want to, like, I've been talking to Kai, like we've been like strategy, like, yo, like, okay, well, when the bear market comes, we're going to save liquidity and we're going to buy out the floor and all this different type of stuff. But we've been talking about that shit for 6 months and nothing is slowing down. And so now I'm at the point to where it's like, okay, well, is that bear market coming? Like when is that bear market coming? Like, I don't see it. And like, as dumb as it sounds, like, if Destined Rivals drops down to $200 a booster box, as stupid as it sounds, it's like that might be the cheapest you'll ever be able to get into it. Like it might be. As dumb as that sounds, as crazy as that sounds, as like overhypey, investy YouTubers, it's like, it's just the numbers, bro. It's not me saying that like that isn't nuts. It's absolutely nuts, but it's just I just don't see what is going to stop things. Like I just I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the current market, it doesn't look like there's a possible way for us to get back to $100 booster boxes. But at the same time, we've been here before. We've been in this exact place before, but we've had more clear-cut reasons for why we're here. So there was a time frame for when we could say, oh, it's a supply chain issue. It's this, it's that, it's this, you know, it's this time frame, 30th anniversary, whatever anniversary it is, 25th anniversary, you know, it's always had some level of like explanation surrounding it. This one feels like it's a little more organic and what I mean by that is it's not like any one thing, like you said, you can point to as a smoking gun as to what's causing the boom to keep booming. And so it does feel as if it's a little less likely to get back there. But I promise, I think it can get at least, maybe you're right, maybe not back to $580 boxes or cases, but maybe we get back to $110 booster boxes so that basically it's a break even from distribution. Because if stores are getting them for like $102, $101 and you're selling it for $110, you're probably breaking even after your fees and maybe losing a little. That's precisely what we would see in a more healthy, I would argue, or a more normal Pokemon market where people can buy and sell as much as they want for, you know, the stores can mark up their 20%, 30%, their extra and make their little margins on it. Now we're seeing the same kind of profits, just on a higher level. Like distributors are charging $900 for a box or a case of prismatic ETBs, whereas before that same case was $340. And so like when you're getting the same thing for $34 a box, you're now having to pay $90 a box like 60 days later. It doesn't feel good, and it feels like that's never going to change. But as soon as these distributors aren't able to sell it at that $900 a case and get it right off the books, they'll lower the prices. It's all going to be a matter of time. We saw it in the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. We had a huge run-up at the end of Sword and Shield to the point where I saw the Crown Zenith packs going for like $50 to $100 on the release weekend each pack. 50, that's what caused me to initially get off of Whatnot. And so I saw those Crown Zenith packs being sold the week or two before it released. I got really mad because Whatnot did nothing about it, and I left in a big huff off of Whatnot saying, that's the last straw. You guys aren't doing shit about this. Here's some reasoning. Go down to my YouTube, and my video about it is a couple years back for why, and the reasons are all the same. I rewatched that video, and it literally aged like fine wine because nothing's gotten solved since I've left. So anyway,
sorry, go ahead.
Crown Zenith was super hot when it came out, and then it completely crashed. People thought it could never, this set is so good, it could never go lower. And then we got Scarlet and Violet, arguably one of the best eras we've ever gotten in the beginning of the era, with like all those illustration rares. We had these really strong sets, but nobody gave a shit about those Scarlet and Violet sets until long after. It took until Surging Sparks 151 came out, and it was a fucking blip. People literally like, oh yeah, 151. I'll go buy it at Walmart. There's plenty of it. And literally, it was on MSRP for the longest time, and stores made money at it for MSRP because you could buy it from the distributor and you could then sell it marked up. You weren't making a killing. You weren't getting people breaking down your walls trying to get it, but it was selling better than other Scarlet and Violet. Now you're in the same place. We have a great set at the end of the era. People think that it can never, ever get lower than it is now. And what are we going to see? We're going to see a slowdown at the beginning of the next era. We're going to see people, yeah, they like it, but they're going to be like, well, it's great, but it's not as good as the Rocket set. It's not as good as the XYZ, the Prismatic set, or whatever, insert the end of the era set that we just got, that we just kind of are cooling off from. And we're going to go through that period you're talking about, a slowdown where, oh, wow, the distributor, it doesn't just sell out of all these black and white boxes because they made as much as they did of the Rocket set. You know the biggest fumble that they're going to make in this, and they may not make this fumble, maybe they've learned, is they're going to print as much or more of this black and white set as they do of Team Rocket. You know how stupid that's going to be, but most likely the reality is that's going to be the truth. And so what's going to happen with all that extra product? They saw their last 3 sets, Surging Sparks, Team Rocket, Journey Together, sell out. And yes, Journey Together sold the fuck out. Unprecedented demand. They're going to use that data set and keep those numbers pumping. And it's going to make a mid-set get far overprinted. And the people who pre-ordered that at $200 are going to finally see that $160 booster box sit on the Pokemon Center for longer than an hour, and they're gonna start sweating their little Timmy. The little Timmy sweats is gonna start beating up right here, and their shirts are gonna get soaked. You're gonna start seeing their fucking pit sweats and their stains, and they're gonna sell at the first downturn because they don't know what a real Pokemon market looks like. And so I'm sorry if anyone who's listening to me right now, you wanted to hear Josh is going to tell you to go buy at the highest highs we've ever seen a set come out at because it's such a good fucking set and it's a good idea. And I just don't know when it has a chance to get better. It's so good. They couldn't possibly print more cardboard. They couldn't possibly print more fucking cardboard. You know how stupid that sounds? That is the dumbest, most bullish thing I've ever heard. And if you have that level of risk tolerance, you must be fucking rich.
Okay,
and most people are not rich.
I agree, but also let's play out this theoretical possibility here. Okay, they print a lot of black and white, the same amount, like you're saying, the same amount of the black and white set as they do of Destined Rivals. Okay, well, what happens? Because it's okay, so maybe Journey Together, if they reprint Journey Together, it gets down to 150, 140, 120. Let's say it gets down to 120, really dark,
all completely reasonable. All very reasonable.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so what do we have before that? Well, we have Surging Sparks.
Yep.
Right? And
that can't be 250 when Destined Rival is 250, so it's got to go down. So what happens when the cracks start forming on a good set like Surging Sparks?
But what cracks? Like what cracks?
Going from 250, people are buying Surging Sparks booster boxes, cases at 250 a box for a case premium on top of that. What cracks, Nick? What cracks?
What cracks? That's what I'm saying. So hold on.
I can see them everywhere.
Hold on.
The house is coming down. The cards are falling.
Hold the phone. Okay, so they print as much theoretically. So Journeying Together, let's say it gets absolutely rammed. There's a reprint. It drops to 130. Destined comes out. It is what it is. It's super expensive. Black and white set comes out. They print a ton of it.
Say that again. The black and white set comes out and they print a ton of it. Say that slower.
Okay, potentially that in this hypothetical situation, what are people going to do? People are not going to stop ripping. So black and white is going to get ripped because it's cheaper, because people can afford that or want to open more packs or whatever. So they're paying for that instead of Rocket. Rocket stays expensive. Here's the other thing too, is like, you have to remember that these stores, these people retailing and stuff like that. Okay, why are distributors now investing? Because even in 2021, I don't remember anyone ever talking about distributors investing. Not a single time.
Cooked. It's because they've forgotten their place and they need to get fucking cooked.
But
like a Thanksgiving dinner, distributors will get cooked just like sneakerheads will, and then they'll learn.
Why are they able to? Because they have the liquidity, because they're making so much money and they have the instant out on all that stuff, so they can
They're going to invest in black and white sets, and they're going to fucking learn. They're going to learn.
So they can afford. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling. It's this
happened in the black and white era before, bro.
Yeah, that's for sure. But like, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like the people are making more money, so they have more money to be able to hold onto things, and then that keeps the market higher. Like, I genuinely think people are going to rip a ton of the black and white set because there's going to be so much to chase, regardless of how boofed the Pokemon are or whatever. People are going to rip cards. People are going to rip a ton of it because it's the newest thing. It's going to be cheaper than Destined. It's going to be cheaper than Surging. It's going to be cheaper than Prismatic because they can't seem to get enough of that stuff out, right? After they said, 6 months ago, like, oh, we know it was tough for you to get Prismatic. Like, we're going to print it. Remember that? Like, dude, it's like...
This happened with Celebrations. It was very expensive, extremely expensive. It took them about 1 year, a little less than a year, and it got really cheap for a really long time. I know they're two different sets. Celebration and Prismatic are two different monsters.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Essentially, the time frame is the same. And I think we are going to see...
Okay, here's the thing though with Celebrations. Celebrations was like a 50-card set.
Yeah, that's the difference. It's a small set.
Very small.
Lost interest in it, yeah.
And half of the set was a reprint. So like people got their fill of that, I think, really quick. And like I think Alex has said it before, but like the upside on Prismatic is like, it's like a $5,000 pack. Like if you pull a God pack, that's like $5,000 raw, right? If you hit like all the, isn't that what it is? Like based on what the raw, so it's like, yeah, it's a $13 pack or whatever, but it's like the upside is a $5,000, like the highest chase. It's like that like you're almost 500xing your money. Like that's crazy. I'm not saying that people should go do like, please do not take that as me saying you should go rip Prismatic and chase a God pack. Like absolutely not. But I'm just saying like, those kinds of odds, it makes sense why people are going, and people are going to rip the crap out of Destined Rivals because there's so many different things you can chase. Like if you're not into the Moltres or the Giovanni or whatever, cool, go chase the Garchomp.
That looks so good, and I think that people are going to justify how good the set is and what the price it is compared to current other sets that they're buying. Like right now, they're like, well, I buy Paradox Rift at $200, and if a Destined Rivals at $270, I like it way more than Paradox Rift. I'm going to buy a bunch of Destined Rivals because it's a good blah, blah, blah. That's the thought process that I genuinely worry people are having. That's why I get so worked about this. I know that you aren't going to throw, what does that turn out to? $270 a box times 6. What does that turn out to for a case, for cases?
Hold on. That's quite a bit. Well, Sassy Auto, I think I saw him. He had cases for 1620, but 270. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what it is. 1620. So
okay, so at 1620 a case, I think there are people who are watching this podcast right now who have either already bought or are going to buy at those prices, either after the set comes out, when they see it go up a little bit because they're worried about it not ever coming back down because, oh no, it's gone up now. What do I do? Buy, because I didn't want to buy when it was lower. Now it's gone up. It is really, really worrying to think that there are people who think it's a good idea to buy at those prices. But there are people on YouTube who are arguing that that's probably a good investment for the same logic that we just discussed. And I just think that that is probably... the people who need to see this the most and hear me saying this are the people who are, and on the other side, the most angry about me saying it, and they're laughing it off like it could never, ever happen. But I promise you, it is possible that you will see cheaper prices someday in the future of this brand new set that's coming out at $270.
Okay, that I agree with. That's what I'm saying, though. I think there's like nuance in there. There's I do not think that Destined Rivals is going to be available probably ever widely available at MSRP or below. I don't.
It was $100 a box for at least a month during a month of a solid month. After it already was $300 or $400 a box, it went down to $100 a box, and then it bounced back up, and now it's like at almost $1,500.
Oh, Evolving Skies. Yeah, again,
Evolving
like
Skies,
different market, different
the
consider. Like, look,
best
okay,
sets in
I
the
think
entire era can have such volatility because they are exactly that. The best sets of the era.
I think that price memory is like so dark. Like I remember like listening to like Jake and Dan and a lot of people, and they'd be like, yeah, well, like stuff used to be this in 2018. And it's like, it's good as like maybe an anchor point to like realize that like, yeah, a lot of people are in these items that like, you know, I was buying PSA 10, not me personally, but like, you know, I was buying PSA 10s in 2017 of this card for $45, and now it's a $450 card, and people are asking me if it's a good investment. And so that's why they were putting that stuff out there, talking about price memory and saying like, you know, just be careful because like, you know, these cards used to be this. But like, okay, so I for like Dan's first Fnatic stream, I bought is the little chubby Pikachu, is that Fossil or Jungle? I think it's Jungle. So I bought a PSA 10 first edition Pikachu, and I think I bid $69 for the memes. And at that time, I think that card was like maybe 70, 80 bucks on eBay or something like this. So like I knew I was gonna make, like I was just buying it, you know, to support and like be funny or whatever. I think I listed that card for like $130 and it sold. But it's also like, okay, well, go replace a first edition Jungle Pikachu in a PSA 10. You know what I mean? It's like, well, those used to be $20 in PSA 10. Great. You know, like it's like, have you ever listened to your grandpa say shit like, oh, well, when I was a kid, I used to buy a burger and fries and a Coke for 75 cents. Like I heard that stuff my entire life growing up. Like people would talk, and like even my mom, she was like, yeah, we used to go to the movies, you know, for $2. And it's like, inflation exists. People's quality of life has gone up into the right over time. People's wages have gone up into the right. People's spending power has been eroded. Inflation exists. Stuff gets more expensive. And it's like, why can we not apply that to Pokemon? Like, that's just how life is. Like, that's not like, we are never in it just to the point of inflation. Packs were $3 when we were kids. So for them to only be $4.99 on a hanger at Target now is not that great. Like, to be honest, like Pokemon is underpaced inflation. So being that the hobby is so much bigger now, being that they're like and that's the other thing too, is like I'm into a lot of other stuff. Like I'm into like Dragon Ball Z and, you know, some other like collecting categories that I don't really want to talk about. And like there's communities there, but they're nowhere near what's available in Pokemon. There are nowhere near the massive Discords and Facebook groups and YouTube channels and like podcasts. And like that shit just doesn't exist. Like Pokemon is built different. Like it's just built different. Like that's not my opinion. It's just a fact. And people are so like, well, you know, these, and like, look, I listen to I listen to Sean from Reserved Investments. Think he's a super smart dude or whatever. I'm sure that there's plenty of things that he would argue. In fact, I know because I listened to him. I'm sure there's plenty of things he would push back on and be like, you don't understand. You haven't been here as long as me. I've seen these other markets go crazy. And it's like, sure, maybe, dude. But like also, like I've studied a lot of these other markets, and they're just not the same. They're just not one-to-one. Like what is going on in Pokemon? Zoom out from the cards. Zoom out from the cards. Just what's going on with Pokemon as a brand right now is infinitely different than anything that we have ever seen. Like he'll say stuff like, okay, well, you know, Pokemon actually wasn't as big of a media IP. Star Wars was. And then, you know, when Pokemon Go came out, that's what made Pokemon become like the number one. Like that's what put them in the number one spot.
He's not wrong about that.
For sure. But like, dude, I was hella into Star Wars as a kid. Star Wars was nowhere near as big. When Star Wars was the number one grossing media franchise, Star Wars was nowhere near as big as what Pokemon is doing right now. Nowhere near as big. And I was into it. I played Lego Star Wars. I went and saw the movies in the theaters. Me and my friends were hella into it. Like, I was into Star Wars. I remember what it was like when it was a big deal and episode 3 came out and everybody like lost their mind because Anakin was turning into Darth Vader and all that stuff. Like, I remember that. It was nowhere near the same as what's going on with Pokemon as a brand right now. Like, that is just a fact to me. Like, I am not like, and people are like, oh, like you have to protect your investment and all that. So it's like, dude, I would not be here. I was going to go work in finance. I put off working in finance to do this because I believe in this. And I've seen like what, I don't know, man. Like, I don't. And I've
I
been
do
waiting
believe
for a
in
fair.
Pokemon long term, but I don't believe in $200 booster boxes quite yet. I think we'll get there. I think we're gonna be at more closely because of inflation. Realistically, where we're gonna get back down to is like $120 booster boxes,
Okay,
$110 booster
so
boxes.
$200 booster box is $5.55 pack.
Yeah.
So if I said to you, what sounds more reasonable, a $6 booster pack or a $200 box, what would you say? You probably would say the $6 booster pack sounds more reasonable. $6 is more expensive than $200 a booster box. You know what I mean? Like
$5 sounds expensive for a booster pack. I think $4 sounds a bit more realistic for like what it is in a 36 booster box that we're used to getting at a certain price. I don't know. Maybe I've been around cards for too long. I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and it just doesn't feel. I know that it happened, and it's happened a couple of times, but every time it has happened in the past, the market's corrected back. So to feel like it happening this time is different when every other time of my experience, the market's jumped like 100 to 200%. It always corrects. It feels a little bit like I would be like not like I'm putting blinders on for my vast experience that I have in the space. So it feels like while I agree with inflation and all those points about things getting more expensive over time, and it has to, I disagree with how quickly it happened and how it can't go back, because I do know for a fact it can go back. It's just in the moment, it's hard. Yeah, I mean, when you're selling out at $200 a box and you can't keep it on the shelf, and we have $270 coming out for a new set, it's probably not the most popular opinion to go on YouTube and say things are going to start going the other direction sometime. But that's what I'm here for. That's what the bear hat's for, guys.
I don't know if you've watched like my pre-recorded videos, but like I have literally been saying that. Like most of my previous videos are talking about like, here's how you set up for the bear market. Be safe. Don't get super crazy. Don't take a bunch of like, I've literally been saying that. And I've selfishly been I would love, now that I am more well capitalized than I've ever been in my life, I would love for the market to eat absolutely. Like I said, I've been talking to Kai for 6 months about the kind of shit that we want to buy. And it's like, there just aren't opportunities. I can't go buy booster cases or booster box cases for $600. Like they're just not there anymore. So it's like, and like a lot of this stuff, like I don't
know you'll get that opportunity in the future, though. Just
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like the longer this goes, I thought that this boom would have ended by now, and not necessarily like would we be in a bear market, but I thought things would have normalized by now. But it does not stop, and it's almost like it's a huge blessing, and it seems like everybody's doing really well and like making good money, and like that's awesome to see, and I'm happy for all my friends. But I did not think that it would last this long. This feels a lot longer and a lot more intense than the COVID boom, which was a black swan event that was only caused by free money from the government, people being forced to stay inside and reconnect with their hobbies, influencer. Remember that? That was the only reason that people got back. We don't have any of that shit now, literally none of it. And Pokemon is booming bigger than it and longer than it was back then. So it's so like at the same time, while I am like, I've been through the up cycle and the down cycle and the transition back to the up cycle. And I've been telling people, yo, be safe, financially insulate yourself. It's okay to sell, take profit, build out, sell things when you're up, maybe move it into other things or keep cash around for better opportunity. Like I've literally been saying that. But at the same time, while I'm saying that and I'm waiting for that to happen, it doesn't happen. And I don't see anything on the horizon that makes me feel like that's going to happen. And like your business is growing. Everybody else I talk to's business is growing. My business is growing. So it's like, not only do my feelings feel like it's not going to happen anytime soon, but also like the data of all my friends printing relentlessly, it's tough for me to be like, yep, things are slowing down when you are literally scaling so much day or week after week after week. Every show, it's just like more and more and more. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I want it to happen. And I do not want to tell people, yo, go buy a $270 boost. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like,
but that's what they're going to do.
But it's probably what, and there is a 50% chance that some people that do that make money and the box goes to $350.
So here's where I'm at. I'm going to probably buy Team Rocket at $250 to $275 a booster box. And I'm really not happy about it. But I need Team Rocket in these stupid boxes up here. But because it's so expensive, I have to reprice like what goes inside so that it makes sense, average out at that super high price so that I can make sure it's there. And so that means it's going to be coming to my customer at a higher price because of that. And so I don't think it's going to be a good thing, but I'm going to be buying it because I know people will be in the market for it and they want it and they'll be juiced to get it and everything. But it's just like, I know that in my heart of hearts, it's not a good time to buy. And so if I were a person listening to this podcast who wasn't in a business, who just wanted to buy to collect, I would say the same thing I've said for the last 6 months. I feel terrible for you right now because I don't think there's a single thing besides Cosmos Holo promos from the Scarlet and Violet set or series. There's the only thing you can buy right now that I think is not super expensive. And it feels bad to just say, like, sit on the sidelines and watch. But at the same time, like, if you're a part of this hobby, if you've been in this hobby for a long time, it's one of those things that you should know that there are just time periods where it kind of gets away from itself. And as long as you do love the hobby, you'll know that you get a chance again to come back later on. Maybe with a different set. Maybe you come back to the set that was really hype at that time when it's a little bit less hype. And you get a chance to buy it at a lower price because it always happens. But it's just it's hard to see for those people, I bet, to have to sit here and wait when the most exciting time in the hobby is happening, right? They hear all these releases and all these and all they can hope for is just getting lucky at Target, basically, or getting lucky at Walmart. So I think that we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. So that being said, if you're one of those people, I personally, I know that a lot of people don't see this, but I personally do see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting to the end of the era. I think we're going to see some softening in Pokemon. I saw at the last show, a lot of my friends who were at the last show said it wasn't one of their better shows compared to shows that have been like slabs and things that were going up and up finally started going down. And when things start going down in price, people don't buy a lot. They take a step back and they just wait and see what's going on. And a lot of my vendor friends, they said they didn't sell as much this last couple of shows as they did the previous boom shows where everything was going up. So I'm seeing at least, I don't want to say the dissolving of the foundation, but we're at least seeing maybe some cracks form. I don't think that's going to be enough to maybe bring the whole house down like I was joking about earlier. But it is enough to make me not want to buy Team Rocket at $250 comfortably when I know that it should probably be higher when, Surging Sparks is $250, but it just feels like it's going to probably get a chance to come down lower.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel good for sure. It's just like, look, dude, when Rocket came out in Japanese, and I was like, I'm not really doing a bunch of grading right now, but I was like, I'm gonna buy some of the Rocket stuff. Mewtwo was like a $400 card, and I was like, wow, that is very expensive. And like, I'm Giovanni. I don't need it's okay to me. I give the card. I haven't seen it in person yet, so that might
it's not my favorite card in the set. I like other
it's
cards
like a
in the set
7.
more.
I give it like a 7 out of 10 or something like that. It's cool. The Moltres I really don't care for. I think like its head looks like weird.
I like the Moltres. I'm not with you on that one. I like the Moltres.
But I was like, it's $400 a card, and I could have like sat on my hands and been like, oh, and then I think it came down a little, and I bought some more like 300 or something like that. But it's just like, is that card probably going to? I mean, I don't know. I have to check and see if there's first to markets already on it. But like, I bet first to market was like $1,000 or something. It's like 400 feels insane because the same time I put that in my cart, there's like Rayquaza EX from like a constructed deck that's like 300 in a PSA 10 already graded, and that card is infinitely more difficult to replace. Rayquaza is a popular Pokemon, but like blah 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 fundamentals, blah blah, like all that bullshit. But like I'm at that point where like I just don't overthink things. Like until like data really starts like punishing me and other people, it's just like, keep it rocking and rolling. Like, don't overthink it too. Dude, like Kai and I, went deep on League of Legends, Chinese League of Legends, and we are about to print relentless on this stuff. So it's like, that kind of shit does not happen in a softening market. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just,
I don't think the market's going to get to the point where we were at pre-COVID, where it was hard to make a living. Stores were not able to sell.
No, definitely not.
But I think it'll heal. I think it'll get better than what. Because I don't think it's healthy right now. I think that it's high, but not healthy. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's definitely not healthy.
I don't think it's good market at all.
It's definitely not healthy because, like, you know, there's tons of bad behavior. But what I would say is, like, if you're brand new and you're looking for a place to get in, like, sealed seems very volatile. Like, maybe don't be rocking with sealed. And like, if your goal is to get in and make money, like, you probably shouldn't be doing sealed to begin with. Like, sealed is like, in my mind at least, like, it's either for investing for long term, like once you've built up enough capital that you can't turn your bankroll over and over and over, that's when you start investing. And it's also very high volume, low margin business. That's just how sealed is in general. And so to me, like, if you're trying to get in and make money, you need to be going to card shows, buying collections, buying singles raw, and turning around and trying to grade them and flip them. Like, that's what you should be doing. Like, that's the age old, like, that's where you start. That's how you build up capital. That's how you make. And also, like, when you do more work, you have bigger spread on margin. So like, when you go to grades,
to tell new people that they should be grading right now and that they should be like going and buying collections and flipping things when it's in an all-time high, both grading costs.
That's what I'm saying. Is not everything is like, you should be looking. So like, when I got in, like, everybody was all about like English, all about vintage, and all about English modern. Nobody was talking about E-series through platinum era Japanese, and that's what, like, all my friends and I got into. No one was participating in that market. Like, literally nobody. While Surging Vivid Voltage was $250 a box, most of the pop reports from like EX era through Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Japanese were, you know, super, super low. So, and my friends went there and we filled out those pop reports, and we did, like, there is always somewhere to be right now. Like, there's always something that is overlooked or cheap. Like, I heard Nick talk about, yeah, I heard Nick talk about it. I think it was on Pokeflips, but he was like, I'm buying the full art. I think they're ultra rares is what they're called in English, but like the ones from 151, because I think he said Charizard is like $15 now, and he's like, that feels pretty cheap to me. I want to have those for streams. Like, what is that? I can't even see. Is that Celebration stuff?
Full art ultra rares.
Yeah. It's like, dude, there's always something right now. The market is not a monolith, so like, there's always something for you to go out there and find. You just got to put the work in. People message me now so much on Instagram, and they're like, hey, so I'm buying these boxes from you. Like, what profit margin should I aim for when I sell these boxes? And I'm like, what? Like, this isn't like a free, like, you buy Pokemon and you make money. Like, you got to put work in, dude. Like, it's just a math problem. It's like, okay, well, what can I sell on eBay minus fees, minus shipping? Is there enough profit margin here to where it makes sense? So it's just, yeah. I mean, like, if I was a new person, it's like, yeah, maybe take your $270 and instead of spending it on Destined Rivals, go buy a bunch of singles that nobody's talking about, because there's plenty of them out there. I don't know if I want to spill. All right, whatever. The Pikachu Zekrom, the gold card that came in the GameStop thing or whatever, that card is dirt cheap raw. That sells super fast for $100 to $125 in PSA 10. Maybe you go on TCG Player and buy a shit ton. Like, I'm just like, TCG Player on the 16th is having a 10% off sale. I'm about to go wild, and I'm probably not going to buy a single Scarlet and Violet card during that time, but I'm going to buy a shit ton of cards and probably a bunch of stuff that nobody's thinking about, nobody's talking about, and I'm sure I'm going to get a decent percentage of them that are going to come in gradable. And so, like, that's what I would tell people is, like, you can get far with $270, taking infinitely less risk, but you're going to have to put more work in. But if you're new, chances are you have less money and more time, so you should be spending your time trying to get money. Like, that's just how it is. Like, there's no free path to infinite wealth. Like, you have to fucking work. And like, I want to help people as much as possible, But so many people DM me and are just looking for like, okay, like where do I sell and like what profit? And it's just like, dude, like I want to help you, but like help yourself. You know what I mean? Like no one wiped my ass. Like I like people have helped me, and like I've had friends and stuff like that, but I had to work for it. Like I binged thousands of hours of YouTube content. I made mistakes. I've gotten scammed. I've lost money. Like this is not just a free path to infinite wealth. Like you have to put the work in, and that's why. Like if this was just easy, everybody would be doing it. Like it's yeah, and there's people that are master's degrees and like very intelligent people that have like that are probably only making like 80 bands 100 bands, and like no shade to that, like that's great money, but I'm just saying like there's people doing that would rather do that and take a boss, have the consistency, have the benefits, have all that sort of stuff, and have a boss give them structure, have the workplace give them structure, have the company provide them with safety. That's what you get when you go to work. You get safety, you get benefits, you get to some extent guarantees. You don't get that here. So if you aren't willing to put the work in, if you aren't willing to scrape your knee, if you aren't willing to take risk, this ain't for you. Like it just isn't. Like it's not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody can like, and that's part of the reason too why like we look up to people that have done it successfully, especially over a long period of time, and like especially the people that have maintained integrity, people like Rusty and stuff like that. And so it's like you have like you can't pussyfoot it. Like you're gonna do one or the other. Like either this is gonna be a part-time thing where like you kind of do it on the side a little bit, you do a little bit of flipping, maybe you do a little investing, but you have your full-time job. This is not like Pokemon is not gonna save you. Like it's just not. And so like if you're looking for YouTube to tell you like, yeah, my $270 purchase is going to go to $350 and that's all you're basing on with no work, that to me is infinitely more risky and has a way bigger chance of failing than if you take that same $270, go to the show, do all the work ahead of time, figure out what things are selling for on eBay, buy at decent percentages, pre-grade the cards in person, and put the work in and grade. But like that's the trade-off, is like you have to do the work. Like you have to do the work. Like that's the only way to keep yourself from getting, or not to keep yourself from getting burnt, but like to give yourself more of a buffer from getting burnt, I guess. So I don't know. Hopefully that made some sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's always one of the things that we've been preaching on this channel, is like the best experience is just getting out there and doing it. Like going and selling your cards in no matter what market is probably the best thing that you can do when you're involved in trading cards, because it is right now at least so liquid that if you don't know how to tap into that liquidity via your own experience, or you have to go ask someone to do it for you and then pay a fee or something, it's going to take out of your overall profit, and I would say take out of your overall like experience or pleasure in the hobby. Because for me, part of the hobby is getting rid of some of my cards. Like I like getting new things, but at the same time I like giving things up and selling them and putting that into new endeavors. So like I think it's a learning experience that a lot of people can have, and I do agree that I think it's beneficial when people go like all in if you're going to do it. And it's hard to be like part-time, but I think there's lots of people that do it part-time and do it successfully. I would argue that the people who do it part-time are doing it more successfully than us who do it full-time, some of us at least, because you can kind of allocate your time and resources towards different things, and you're never like taking profit out of the hobby to put it into like your bills and things. So like people like me, I have to at least take a certain amount of my profit every month out of my overall overhead and put it into my personal. I have to pay myself basically. So you don't have to do that when you have another job. You just put all of your profit you make from a hobby all right back into it. So you just keep growing and growing and growing. So there's always like trade-offs, Oh yeah, my dog, my poor dog. I have two dogs. I have a puppy and I have a really old dog. And so what you guys heard was my old dog having her little. She has a heart condition or like a so like she makes her cough and stuff. So that's what you guys are hearing.
It was cute, but Kyle's trolling for sure. I mean, it's like, look, and I'm not hating on like doing it. I'm not saying that like you can't do it part-time, but what I'm saying is like if you want to extract money, like look, hobbies in general are net negative. or not
Most
negative,
are, yeah, most are.
like not net negative to your life. Like obviously, like
You'll
if
take
they're
up surfing, it's not going to get you a lot of money. Yeah,
exactly, like it's you're spending. So like if you want for your hobby to be something that also makes you money, guess what, Buttercup? Like you're gonna have to work. So I wasn't trying to say that like you have to go full time. You can't do it part time.
yeah.
What I'm saying is you want to get money out of it. You need to
Yeah.
put in more work than if somebody's just coming in trying to enjoy the hobby. Is like if you like, okay, I texted you about it. I was at Walmart because like we're on Kauai, which is like, you know, smaller population, more rural and stuff like that. So I'm like, let me go to like Walmart and see if I can actually find Pokemon cards. Like, let's see if stuff's still on the shelf, right? So I go to Walmart on our way out, and everything else was like the Armor Rouge, whatever, like the stuff I texted you, like the EX box. They got packs in them, but like there's no arbitrage there, which is, you know, fine, totally great. There is one Paldean adventure chest left on the shelf, and this couple like comes around the corner, and the chick has their binder pages, like not like a binder, but it's like a prepackaged thing of like
Pages. Yeah.
yeah, like just the pages. So I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are real collectors, and also probably like just beginning, because like who buys binder pages, right? Like please do not be using the 3-ring binders. Like get yourself a zip up. Anyways, they come around the corner and they see Pokemon on the shelf and they're stoked. Like they're like, oh my god, there's actually packs here, and they're looking at them and they're like, oh, is this worth it? Like, I don't know, like which one's the best one and stuff. They knew nothing. And so like I told them, I was like, hey, get the Paldean Adventure chest. That one's got like a cool Pikachu promo and you get decent packs in it. It's the best value for your money or whatever.
I
And
love
it's
that
like
box. It's such a good box.
It's like that kind of stuff is gonna keep it. But again, like those people, zero interest in making money. Zero, like negative interest. And like they literally had the binder pages, and like maybe I should have been like, okay, here's what you do. You get penny sleeves and maybe, but like bottom line, what I'm saying is like this at the core, still a majority, and it's so tough for us to believe this or to realize this, because like we are so into making money, but most of this hobby are net spenders. They're not net income getters, or whatever the opposite of that is. Like most people in this hobby, so if you want to make any sort of money out of this, you have to put more work in than the average person, and you can't just wait for information to fall in your lap and for people to tell you, okay, like you do this and lay the entire thing out for you. It's like, dude, do it yourself, figure it out yourself. Like it's a blessing. Like how blessed are you that you can even, first of all, have the money, disposable money, to be able to spend on Pokemon cards. Second of all, have the potential to be able to potentially make money off of those Pokemon cards. That's crazy. Like that is fucking nuts. So yeah, you're gonna have to put some extra work in and wipe your own ass. You know what I mean? And like it gets a little frustrating when people are just like looking for you to like give them all the information. It's like, bro, like do it yourself. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I don't know. Like I think people gotta, yeah, they gotta put and I like I like a lot of the guys that do investing stuff, but I think if I was going to point to like one negative that I think investing content has done for people in the hobby, for new people at least, it's made people believe that like investing is a flip. And I think that is like, I think that's detrimental not only in Pokemon, but I think that there's a lot of that in traditional investing, like traditional finance. Like I think that people do a lot of trading and buying options and risky stuff in the stock market and crypto market. And so I think that mindset of like investing is a flip, that is dangerous to me. And I think a lot of new people coming in think investing is a flip. Investing is not a flip. I was flipping until I got to the point to where I couldn't turn my bankroll over. Then I started investing. Before that, I didn't do really any investing at all. It was constant flipping. And so you have to be in like, when I look at what I buy for investment versus what I buy for flip, it's completely separate. And I think new people coming in think investing is a flip because all they've ever seen is like you buy the set and it goes up 30% in a week. And that to me is harmful. Now, I'm not saying that like any of the investing YouTubers are saying that, or that it's their fault that people think that way. But I think that's how new people coming in take that. Like that's how they digest it and believe it. And so I think that's potentially harmful. So I don't know. Hopefully that made sense.
No, and I agree with that, because I think that investing is something that people use that term loose and fast a little bit when they are really talking about speculating. I think investing and speculating get tossed together sometimes when they're really very different things, but people use those terms interchangeably. And so I think most of what we're seeing on YouTube and what people advise people to do may be investing, but what most people actually do in practice, especially in this hobby, as young as this hobby is they're not spending extra money that they would be putting into their, after they put into their 401k or after they've maxed out all their IRAs or whatever, anything they responsibly would do with that money. They're not taking that and putting it into Pokemon. They're taking their money they need for rent, for food, for their next bills, and they're putting it into Pokemon because it has been told to them that it's a good source of basically investment. And to them, investment means flipping, like you just said. And so what they're doing is they're speculating very dangerously with funds they don't probably have to speculate with into the future of something that they very highly believe in and love. And so that what they're doing is two very dangerous things. Is they're hoping for the future and they're using data from the past to then speculate on the future, but they're infusing some of their love of the hobby into it. And that's where I feel I start to get a little bit antsy, because I see more of that than I see responsible spending. And I see the justification being that you don't get money out of your hobbies, and so you're not supposed to get money out of it. But then when you are supposed to get money out, then the justification changes. So it's like the bar changes depending on what justification these people want to use. So like I see less businesses in the space, and I see more hobbyists. And when I see hobbyists making terribly irresponsible financial decisions on a more often basis, I'm more often to believe that there probably more of that going on than the responsible stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just using my bias as someone who sees a lot of my customers and sees irresponsible purchasing with like ripping packs. And I sell mystery packs, for God's sake. And I tend to think that my mystery packs are actually pretty good. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's still a mystery pack. You still should not rip things that are like booster packs. You shouldn't rip mystery packs. You should buy the singles when they're low, or like save your capital for like more opportune buying times in the hobby. That's always what I've sort of preached. But what I sell is completely different. So I think that it's a very different situation what the reality is versus what we preach. So that's all. I just highlight that sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right. And I mean, like, same thing, like with the boxes or whatever, like people will literally ask me, like people will be like, hey, Retro, like I want to order like 40 boxes from you. Like, which boxes should I get? Or like, I want to order this set. Like, do you think it's a good investment, like long-term, or like, and I think some of them are just like, they get that the market is volatile. So they don't want to buy boxes. And then like, 3 days later, the boxes, yeah, drop like 20%. Like I get that. But like, I literally just tell people like, hey, like I don't provide specific recommendations because one, like that's highly unethical. Like I'm the one selling the boxes. Two, I have no idea. And to be honest, like I've probably been wrong more than I've been right. Like I told, like, okay, I was pre-selling Terastal for like $47 to $55 or something, like right in there. Next week it shot up to 100, and I was like, oh, it's gonna come down. Never came down. Never came down. I think now like I'm still wholesaling for like 90, 91 bucks, something like that. So like I was dead wrong. Now like I got lucky on V-Star and 151 and like buy those at the low and stuff like that. Like definitely not as much 151 as I should have, but like most of the time I'm wrong. Like, and for a long time, like Breaker, Super Electric Breaker, which is, got the Pikachu in it from Surging Sparks, I was wholesaling that for under $40. And I was like, yo, this feels way too cheap. Like this seems really cheap, but it took like things absolutely going nuts for that box to sort of like take off and get in. So it's tough. Like, and the best I can do is I just tell people, like, one, I stopped taking pre-orders for new sets, and I already have like my inbox is just filled with like 50 different people like, hey, can you get black and white? Can you get black and white? Can you get black? And it's just like 2 days before release. That's it. That's how it's always going to be. 2 days before release. Like I'm not doing pre-orders anymore. Like don't ask me like that. Like I'm not doing that. And I don't know. Like I try to be honest. I try to tell people like, hey, like this is going to get a reprint on this date or whatever. Like, maybe like I'm transparent. I don't hide anything from people, but like I can't in good conscience tell people like, yeah, buy this box at this because this is a good investment, or don't buy it because like I don't know. And it's totally possible that even like me trying to be cautious and tell somebody, yo, don't buy Rocket at $100 or $150, like don't buy that. It's totally possible that I'm dead ass wrong. Like I don't know. And so it just, you do the best you can and you try to be honest and transparent with people, but it's like, dude, at the end of the day, like you got to get your own experience and figure things out on your own. And like we try to be honest and help people as much as we can, but it's just like this, nobody, no matter how good you are, like nobody has been right 100%. Probably nobody's been right more than 60% of the time. Like even some of the people that do this stuff at such a high level and are so successful and have been doing it for so long, it's just you cannot predict collectibles markets. Like they are so volatile, they're so insane. And I still feel good. Like last night, I think I had Rocket up for like I have to look, but I think I had it up for like 115 or something like that. And today, like this morning, I got a message and it's down a little bit. So now I'm down to 112. And there's a bunch of people that ordered like 10, 20, 30 boxes last night that paid, 115 or 113 or whatever I had it at. And overnight, they lost 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 50 bucks, 70 bucks. I feel bad about that. I didn't hide anything. I had no idea that Rocket was going to be $3 cheaper today. Like I had no, but it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's impossible to, I don't know. Like it's like you have to hold yourself to a high standard to be moral and ethical to people. But it's also like when you don't have the answers, it's like what can you do? You know what I mean? Like I don't. And it's the same thing with you. Like
with the Cardboard Hands podcast, when we do this every bi-monthly, monthly, every 6 months, every year, however often it comes up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like same thing with you. Like you were totally honest about like the Whatnot stuff, and you're like, hey, like here's what I saw happening. I went to Whatnot support. I said like, hey, here's this is like clearly illegal, or this is clearly in violation of you guys' terms. This is not right. Blah blah blah, whatever. And they just kind of like swept it under the rug and didn't care, or whatever. But then now you were making a product where like everything is honest, and like you're even going above and beyond and like handwriting and dating the void tape. You know what I'm saying? It's like that is not that is definitely like going above and beyond, like doing more than like you would need to do. But it's like it's like how can like you've done the right thing. Like you've told people like, hey, this is wrong, look out for this, I'm not going to do this because of this. So does it make you a bad person to like be honest and make a product that you feel like is honest? And it's like you get what I'm saying? It's like I don't, and I know that people aren't happy about mystery boxes and don't like mystery boxes or whatever, but like to me, it like I see people that buy your mystery boxes and they're stoked. Like they are legitimately hyped and they come back and they're happy with the value. Like they do not feel like they're getting ripped off at all. And so like it's like, yes, you have to make money. You have to have a profit margin built in there. But if you were doing things that are making people happy and you're not being scummy or whatever the opposite of transparent is, like if you're not trying to hide anything, it's like, okay, well, like at what point do we draw the line and just be like, it is what it is? Like it's money, it's capitalism, it's business, it's collectibles markets, it's volatility, and like nobody has all the answers. You know what I mean? Like I
watch podcasts is because it's fun to speculate and everything. But no, it is at the end of the day, it's a big boys. Investing is a big boys game, and if you're going to invest in Pokemon, it's a highly speculative alternative asset. That's what they would call it these days. I saw it like ABC did some like money, like alternative asset, growing assets, asset classes, and collectibles, and Pokemon was one of those things they talked about. So that was kind of funny to see on the news. But yeah, if you're going to be investing in any sort of alternative asset or collectibles, it's highly volatile. So it is what it is, right? But it's a good time though. So I mean, I think I want to go see a movie before the matinee prices change for me. Okay. And so we're gonna probably cut this podcast soon.
Can I just say go follow Lil Will? Like Lil Will is potentially the best traveled Pikachu in the world, and he does not get enough not getting enough love. So if you're
Homie
not
is in
following,
Hawaii. Yeah, he goes more places than I do. That's crazy.
yeah, Lil
I
Will's
travel a lot.
Lil Will is well traveled for sure, and he had to initially come from Japan, so he's a world traveler at this point. So
yeah, that being said, though, I think we're gonna probably shut it down here soon. I'm gonna go see the Thunderbolts movie, that new Marvel movie that just came out. I'm pretty excited about it. Heard good things, and I don't know if anyone knows this about me, but I'm like a die-hard MCU like movie Marvel fan. I liked the comic books and stuff growing up. I wasn't a huge comic book fan. I liked the cartoons a lot, but it wasn't like my main thing. I really liked the MCU though, and I've liked them since the beginning, and it's had a really rough go this last like post Avengers Endgame onward, like this last phase or whatever. And this movie, it looks really good, so I'm actually very excited to see it. So if anyone else is out there, a huge Marvel fan, don't tell me if it was good or not, but because I'm about to go see it. But I'm about to go see Thunderbolts, so I'll be right there with you if you've seen it too.
all right, well maybe we can get you on a podcast next week on my channel, and we can do Cardboard Hands next week, and you can tell us how the movie went. Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I would like to come back and do a little bit more Cardboard Hands. Now that the market's healing a little bit, I feel better about doing these podcasts. When it was ripping and roaring, I really was not in the mood to talk about Pokemon. But I've become more in the mood as the weeks have gone on. That's how I know the market's healing. So yeah, you'll probably see a little bit more of me. If we go back to over $350, $400 a booster box for Team Rocket, there's nothing that you could do to get me onto YouTube because I can't tell you guys not to buy it at that price. Because if you're buying it up to $400 a box after what we just talked about, there's nothing I can do for you, and you're dead to me. You're completely dead to me.
Maybe we got to get you a DS so you can play Black and White.
If that says over $300 a box, the black and white one, then you're gonna see Old Card Shop unhinged like you've never seen before. Like
I'm gonna buy you a Zekrom hat.
The bear hat will be on fire at that point. It'll literally be a flaming bear hat because this is where we're gonna be at. If it's $300 for a black and white booster box when it comes out, good lord.
We'll see, but yeah, we'll maybe try to knock one out next week. I know you have shows this weekend, so maybe we can do it.
Man, I got shows this weekend is the only weekend I didn't have a show for this month. I got a show every single weekend for the rest of the month though. But we can still make it happen during the week. I think they do well during the week anyway, so it doesn't really matter what day we go live as long as it's just one of them.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of Monday's going to hit, and there's going to be a whole new slew of Pokemon news and things to talk about. So yeah, but appreciate everybody being here, and yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can do more of these in the future for sure.
Yeah, and next time we'll be on Nick's channel. So go follow Retrospects. I'm sure you already do. You've grown quite a bit over this last little lull since I've been off YouTube. So congratulations on that. But if you haven't already, go follow Retrospects. What are you doing? He's going to be doing more videos too. So you're not going to have to rely just on us doing Cardboard Hands over there. But yeah, we'll probably be back again next week on his channel. I'll have a lot of things to talk about. But until then, stay safe. Don't buy up Team Rocket at $270. I think that's ridiculous unless you have an out for it at higher than that, in which case sail on, buckaroo. But yes, the One Piece is real, and I'm going to be king of the pirates, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Oh no. All right, peace guys.